Hey, Scott. Can you hear me, sir?
In a tavern in Plymouth, our adventure awaits. To my wife I bid farewell as she waits from our gate. With the voyage at sea, destiny I have date for 8 pieces of silver. I boarded my fate. With 2 years of provisions, from sauerkraut to nails, 9-ton hogsheads of rum and cask full of ale. We made ship-shape the rigging from crow's nest to keel, and with the weather eye open, Captain Cook set sail. Hang on to the winds and head out to sea. Beyond the horizon, the ends of the earth beckon we. In 3 years of discovering new lands for the crown, 200,000 leagues of boat tapes sailed around. On a mission for the mythical southern continent bound. Well, we searched the world over and it could not be found. In the year 1773, 194 men sailed into history. Crossed the Antarctic Circle, first ever we'd be. Unknown, uncharted waters, first known, ever seen. Hang on for your lives, we preach and you see. Onward beyond the horizon, the ends of the earth there to be. From the heavens of lush Polynesia, a dream paradise, to a great barrier, rim of impassable ice. Frozen islands, volcanoes, 12,000 feet high, rising up one above other and into the distance. And every attempt impenetrable resistance, gigantic glacial mountains lost through the clouds to the sky. There's no way through to go. Like the edge of a wheel. There's nowhere around to go. Like the edge of a wheel. At the end of the earth. And I see that beneath us graves await those drowned sunken men. Will our fate be to sink here or return home to see you again? In the fog and much darkness of a black midnight sun, our 2 ships separated, though we fired sounded guns. Time and tide wait for no man, to the end we have come. But come hell or high water, journey home's just begun. So turn the bow hard to starboard, put our stern to this hell. We've mapped the treasures of value, discovered tales we must tell. So never were seen again, lost all before they were fell. We come the white cliffs of Dover, life home we should yell. Hang on to the winds and cut through the sea.
All right, say something, Scott. Anything. You're lighting up a little bit, but I don't know if it's working, dude. Huh? Maybe it's restream. I don't think we can hear you at all. Can you hear us? Or me, for that matter? Nah. I think he's having problems with his connection. Hey, Cubby. How are we doing tonight? Anything. Post anything. What would you post if you were going to post anything? Here, I'll put a new link in for Scott. He's having problems with that link. Let's try that. You guys are welcome to come aboard too if you want. If I can get the link to go in. There he goes. I'll repin that one. Let's see. And anybody ever have a Nokia when they were younger? Awesome phone. I replaced it. Try it again, Scott, if you can. All right. It sounds like it's him. Do, 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 do. How about now? Say something. I don't have even an icon or a picture. Try defaulting your phone, like the microphone or stuff. Go into the settings. You normally don't have problems on here. Lev does, but there's Cubby. Say something.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. I think Scott's having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I figured I'd come entertain until he could get his thing going.
Yeah. We're going to review the great interview. I mean, debate, sorry. I would call it more of an interview with the two clowns from TFE.
It's really making the rounds.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to thank Mojo for that, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow he got it, yeah.
Yeah, that was good on him.
Yeah, I know.
Because I ain't paying for none of that crap.
It's not worth my time, dude.
No.
But you do know the story about when it originated with me with Duffy. He offered to take me along.
Yeah.
And then he reneged on the whole fucking thing and just dropped it.
Yeah.
There you go. Wonder why they did that. What did
I
they
noticed.
Take? You know?
Sorry, go ahead.
Why did they just take my ass, dude? Why?
Yeah, good question. I was when I was eating dinner, I was watching Flats earlier, and they were doing the same thing. I don't know if you were on there or not. I didn't get through the whole thing, but I saw I saw that Sean from Kingdom of Context came on.
Yeah.
And he was talking about going. I was like, maybe you. It kind of sounded like he wanted to do his own thing alone, but I don't know. Maybe you two can hook up and go down there. I don't know if you're interested.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, I mean, I just figured it's another option possibly. Hey, Lev.
Hey, Lev. How are you doing, man?
Hey, how are we doing? Yeah, good study away.
Jeez. So when are you going to publish your book?
Me?
I'm serious. You should publish a book. Yeah.
Witsit's doing it now, isn't he?
Is he? Is Witsit putting a book together? Shit.
Yeah, he's got a series of books that are coming together. It's going to show you how the body works, how it relates to flat Earth, how you integrate into the realm, and all these kind of things and stuff like. Sounds a bit like my research. So, like last time he did the like the first flat Earth summit. That's when he stole the Taurus field. Well, actually, it was a few months before, but but you know, for it to happen again. See, now I've got like 7 series, not just one episode.
You need a lawyer, dude. You really do.
I know. I need some. Well, really, it's gonna like. I honestly thought that over time, people are gonna notice. It's like I'm not like somebody who doesn't exist in movement. I spent like past 10 years on panels and stuff like. So past 3 years recording my own stuff and stuff like. So it's like people just know. Really, it's kind of like I'm part of the movement. So how come how come there's so many channels which don't say out? It's like I went into QE stream and stuff like, and I've met it seems to have this thing about Witsit, and it's like it wants to pull him down, but I tell him that he's a thief, and he don't want to know. He don't even address it. You know what I mean? So he don't say out about my comments and stuff like that kind of thing. And then that makes me think that that makes him questionable because if he's part of the shill group, because how big is the shill group? You got David Weiss, you got Jaren, you got Witsit, etc., etc. You know what I mean? So I don't, any of those people I know I can't trust. Any people that's associated with those people becomes highly questionable. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like the truth movement's no longer a truth movement. It's a two-faced movement. It's a crime movement where we're just exploiting people. So it's not about flat Earth anymore. It's about shills.
No. Well, the thing is, on the other side, it's just as bad, dude. That's all they're about. They're about shilling too. They both do it on both sides of the story.
Who's the other side?
The Globe, like McToon's group, and a lot of the guys coming out of that, and
They're not the other
TFB.
side. They're part of
No, we're not the other side.
it. It's like on earlier, right? And Jaren's got a wrench in there now. So I think Jaren should be called McJaren. Because that's what it is. It's not
No. Hopefully he comes back.
Well, he's not an honest individual.
You're cutting out, Lil.
You can't tell what Jaren is anymore because he's like, is he himself or is he just employed and scripted? You know what I mean? Because for him to like True Christian, I just watched True Christian's video, and it was like exposing. You like we what's it called, the Home Depot Earth, right? So you got all that kind of stuff. And that was in July. So in July, Jaren's pushing Globe before he's gone to Antarctica. So like you've just put two and two together. It were already planned. It was like planned way ahead. You know what I mean? That Jaren were going to turn and all these kind of things. And now he's best mates with Toon. So like Toon and Jaren, they're in league. And if Jaren and Witsit's in league, then Witsit and Toon's in league. Which means all these fucking fake flat earthers, they don't deserve they don't deserve to be in truth movement. They're not truthers. Yeah. You can be a flat earther and not be a truther. That's just being your orientation of the world, of what you believe it to be. You know what I mean? A murderer suddenly moves from the globe and becomes a flat earther. It doesn't mean he's stopped being a murderer. You know what I mean? You can't take his crimes from the past away and stuff like that kind of thing like that. So when we've got all these, I don't know, these fake people which are kind of leading the movement, they need to be put down. You know what I mean? In terms of like, verbally at least.
Opportunists. They're opportunists. They see something, an opportunity, and they jump on it. An opportunity to make money. They're grifters, man. So they're just complete opportunists.
Well, look at the pay
until they're out and moving. The rest of the people need to know. Everyone who's watching and stuff.
Yeah. The paywall they put up for the last thing that Witsit did. Why was there a paywall there? You know what I'm saying?
What did they do?
They make big bank off that, dude. Think about it.
Oh yeah, and they're business partners, so it's all business.
It's money.
Yeah.
And he said everybody on this side dropped the ball. They went down to Antarctica with a whole bunch of projections from the globe and predictions from the globe to begin with. They already had it already done. It's all been done years ago. They globalized the world a long time ago. That's already set in stone in their minds. Their geographic locations, all their markings and everything that they have. The globe grid is basically carved out of geodetic surveying to begin with. And they made the flat Earth into a ball, literally. Well, not literally, but on paper. So their coordinate system's set up for these certain events, like 24-hour suns here or whatnot. I'm not saying there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I'm just saying it's presented that way. By the end of this year, hopefully, or maybe next year, I'll get a chance to actually disprove this whole fucking thing. But that's what I was saying earlier, Liv. They didn't want to take me at the beginning. This is when TFE started. I talked to Duffy on the phone personally, and he assured me that he would take my GoFundMe and put it on his platform and get me funding to go with them. And he never did it. he completely shunned me from the whole thing.
Wait, yeah, that's what I've been saying for a long time is that the
Yeah,
players were chosen, and anybody who
yeah,
is not chosen, they weren't going to allow that person to come with, like just like the whole golden ticket thing. I mean, that was all set up too. I mean, if
yeah.
you're not part of the chosen ones, then they're not going to bring you along. Gonna you're not gonna say the lines they want you to say or go along with the narrative. I mean, they don't want none of that. They want controlled people.
Yeah. I mean, that was a red flag to me when he didn't get back to me. He just like left me hanging,
Yeah.
and he never returned any of my emails. Never called me back and says, "Oh, we're setting this up for you." He gave me one email back saying he didn't like the way I worded my GoFundMe. I changed the wording, gave him a link for it. Never heard back from him at all. He never put my GoFundMe on the TFE website. Never mentioned me at all.
Mhm.
They just went gone.
Jeren, Weiss, and Witsi, I think they've all been in it from the beginning. Like, like wanting to lead the movement to control it from the beginning. So that as soon as like 2015 came, they were on scene and stuff like that. They might have been there before, but I think they don't want everyone waking up, so they want everyone to follow their scene, push anybody else out like ourselves and stuff like that kind of thing, and then they've got control of it and stuff like. So like Duffy is part of that since 2015, I imagine. I imagine that
Yeah.
Duffy,
Well,
Jeren, Wixie, and Weiss all knew each other in 2015. I might be wrong
I'm
about
pretty.
that bit. You know what I mean? They might have,
I'm pretty sure Bob Enyart is involved in it back then too, before he passed away.
Was.
Yeah, definitely a criminal element involved there too. If
Well,
you want
that's
to look
what Bob
into it.
Enyart
Yeah.
was totally against flat earthers. I mean, that he wanted to crush flat earthers, and that's just exactly what Duffy is now. Have you seen Duffy put out anything church related since the TFE? No, it's been
Nope.
all this just against the flat earth. And it was always going to be that his whole church, his whole fake pastor thing was just a front to get people to, oh, it's a pastor, you can trust him. But yeah, and Scott was asking, does
I
anybody
don't
did,
trust any
does
pastors.
anybody know? Did they have numbers on who all watched this, who all paid for it? I should say this
I have no
debate.
idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well,
I
I
think it
went
was
over
like
to
2 hours.
I went over to Jaren's website on what is it, Rockfin, and the only thing I find is his latest thing. He has a thing with Dave McKeegan and Jaren discuss the Apollo moon missions live part 3, real or fake. So I don't
Mm,
see anything on his website about this event at all.
yeah,
Huh. So he doesn't say anything about Austin. He's keeping Austin in the back corner, like
I think that's
we're
all
French.
by
Yeah,
design.
yeah.
I think this is all designed. This whole debate thing is just designed to get Austin to look like he's credible and flat Earth again, and
Mm-hmm.
they're business partners, man. There's no legitimacy to any of this, in my
No.
opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm not speaking for anybody else.
Well,
He's not a truther though. He's a
yeah,
liar. He's sold me research and he's lied about it for the past 3 years. And if he's going to continue to steal the rest of my work, which that's what the EFA Summit looks like, then he's shown that he's not just a liar. No, like, if he lied once or he made a mistake and he stole some work and he got away with it and stuff like that kind of thing. But for him to continue thinking about it and then follow through to steal more, it shows you that he's never going to be a trooper. He's never been a trooper. He's just a lying, two-faced snake, basically.
well, I mean, wouldn't it be best
He's got
to
no
actually
truth
come to
truth with.
you and present your stuff too?
That's what
Yeah.
they should have done as leaders of truth movement. They should be raising people up. That's what you're supposed to do as a leader, not walk on everybody so you can stay at top. You know what I mean? You're supposed to guide people so they can lead themselves.
Hey, Roger,
There's a lot of
Justin
people that don't seem
Johnson's
to.
in chat. Weren't you gonna ask him something like how he
Yeah, I
likes
wanted
his?
him to come in the other night, but I got late. I couldn't get my restream to work with YouTube for like an hour. It would connect and
Mhm.
disconnect. I put in 3 different live streams, and I finally got it working around midnight.
Yeah,
Like,
but were you
yeah,
gonna ask him like how he lost his wrench or something?
yeah. I wanted to know why Austin ditched him, man. How did you lose your wrench, Justin? if you want to come in and talk about it, I'm more than willing to listen to you. I want to hear your side of the story, man. I don't think it was fair. I've never seen Justin do anything in comments or chats that ever made me want to kick him out.
No,
He had
I
to
think
say something.
I'm not going to speak for him. He can speak for himself, but I think it was just the fact that he was, asking the hard questions of Witsit, and that he didn't like that. He didn't want none of his mods going against his side of the story. But
I think it
I'll
was
let
scripted.
Justin talk for himself.
Yeah.
It probably was
Yeah.
scripted because we're working together.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it. This whole thing's been scripted since the go, man. Since they took off on the trip. After I sat there for like 2 months waiting for any word back from me going, and then they went and they drug in a Hollywood professional to do the documentary. I knew that they weren't really going to do an honest documentary or anything. So I knew Hollywood was stepping into the match.
Yeah. There you go. He said he was talking against the TFE.
Oh no! Don't talk
So
against
there you go.
TFE.
Yeah, I get you banned or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
Not
Well,
banned,
I'm
but
still get
go ahead.
your wrench taken from you
Right,
for sure.
yeah.
Take away your privileges. You are no longer a special person that you were before.
No longer a special boy.
And no longer a moderator. So anybody get the title of the stream? It's a Nokia.
I didn't check it. Sometimes I just jump right in. I don't look at the thumbnails, and I didn't check it before I came in.
Have you ever owned a Nokia? They're tough.
Oh yeah, back in the day, play Snake.
Oh yeah.
You could throw those things against a brick wall; they'd still freaking work.
Dude, I went through like 4 of them. But
really, mine I couldn't destroy mine.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a couple of years.
Yeah,
they're tough phones, man. They are. But I got a push to talk Nextel, which was even tougher than that. That thing was made for construction work. They were like $500 or so right out the box. You get them at the store. You could run a car over it. It still worked. It had push to talk options. If you had what people were doing in construction sites, they were buying the Nextel push to talk thing, and they'd give it to the crew, and they didn't have to use the cell service while they were on site. Had a 2 mile or more range. You just push and talk. It's like a walkie.
What used to annoy me about those is like sometimes like you're saying they use those like walkie talkies, but you'd see guys like construction workers at the grocery store and they'd be freaking using them in there, and it's like, dude, come on.
I don't know if Nextel was a Nokia. I don't know. Scott's asking that question.
I don't know. I can't remember either. I want to say they were 2 different things, but I could be wrong.
I think they are, because I remember mine. It was black. It was kind of a rectangular, oblong shape. It was weird. I think it was a flip. From what I remember.
Was Nextel the service? Maybe I can't remember.
I think Nokia was the service.
I think Nokia was the phone and Nextel was the service, but I don't know for sure.
I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah.
What, you ever remember a guy named Peter Markley by chance?
Nope.
No. Well, we had him on Flat's show a couple times. Did a debate with him or two. He's part of the TFE group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he does for the TFE, but he makes videos. Mm-hmm. I found one that he did. It has real photos from space. You want to see it?
Go for it. I'm always up for anything. I probably seen, if he was on Flats, I'd probably seen him. I just forget the name or whatever.
All right, here's this monkey's face here. Yeah,
wow.
He called us robothanists. He actually gave us a title. He read Samuel Robotham's book, and before he came on Flats, and he came up with a term. He called us robothanists, and he believed that the Egyptians, because they believed the sun went to the underworld at night, went under the earth, and it rose in the morning the same way. So he thinks that all the ancient cosmologies are like that. The sun actually goes under the earth, like in the heart of the earth, and then comes back up in the morning.
Looks like he could use some sun.
Oh yeah.
It says photos of TFE from space.
No, I think the photos from Discovery. That's what the claim is. He actually thinks these are real photos. You've seen these photos before, but he's saying
I've not seen this down.
Yeah, he's actually taking pictures of Antarctica at the time that they were down in Antarctica, and he's saying even though it's a pixel, it's a picture of his friend. So he marked Union Glacier on there.
Crazy.
Yeah, he is. We'll watch him. He'll get the gist of how lethargic he is. Right.
If you are a flat earther, click away now. If you keep watching, be warned that your fragile mind and worldview may suffer harm. Why? Because this video mentions a man-made spacecraft. Now, if any flat earthers muscle through anyway just to argue, I have a further warning. If you want to claim that something presented as real is actually CGI used to deceive, because I know that most of you say that, but you cannot even provide what your criteria are for when to make that accusation, then you have no grounds to make it. Forget evaluating the claim. You can't even make it. Because without explicit criteria, there's no way to prove...
What were you saying?
We've seen fireworks, we've seen rockets.
I know.
What we haven't seen is a picture of the globe, a photo of a globe. And when he's talking about like CGI images and all these kind of things, then that's what the globe's offered.
Yeah. I left them a comment.
Like I said, we've seen rockets, so that's not the problem.
No, it's not.
Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like we'll just send that over into sea or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just, you know. So now we've got like a physical and visual thing to say that something went up somewhere, but it doesn't really prove where it went.
I know. This is supposedly pictures from the satellite Discovery, which has been in over 1 million miles away from the Earth, and it's actually taken a picture of it. Can you imagine what kind of camera you'd have to take a picture over 1 million miles away? Just think about that. Anyway,
some good zoom.
I know. Get a gander at this.
Prove it. You're not.
When you zoom in that far,
I don't think
there's so many things that are moving at such incredible speeds that it'd be really difficult to actually take a photo in that kind of sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, of an accurate image in a sense. You know, like they've got the laser that goes to the moon, but the Earth's spinning and the moon's supposed to be going around the Earth at such a speed that if you zoomed in and shone that laser at that tiny little reflector, right, then it'd take a split second for that laser to like cut like a 10-mile line into the moon, or not cut it in, but you know what I mean, but shine the light onto the moon. It'd go across 10 miles right fast within a split second, and hopefully you get.
Yeah. Lev, did you cut out? Did we lose Lev? Damn it! I hate restream. Yeah. His phone can't handle it. Yeah.
I don't usually have too many problems with it, but
yeah, no, I'm going to do an actual stream on StreamYard now. I got it so I can actually schedule on there. It was funny. Yeah, he's coming back. Here he is, I think. Yep, there he is. I hate Restream Lev, and I am going to do a StreamYard stream next week, so I did tell you that, right?
Yeah,
so you can come on for longer than this. Yeah, I know. I know you have problems with it. They've been shooting lasers off the moon before they had the reflectors on it, and they were just shooting it off the moon, which is a larger surface area. You can retrieve a laser off of it, you know. But I mean, just to hit that little reflector, nah, man, that's precision, dude. I'm telling you. And with the speed that the moon's going and the laser's going, I think it's like 8 seconds or 9 seconds back and forth. So the shot you hit it with would bounce away from the or in front of it, you might say. He's coming back again. Oh,
whew. Back and forth.
Yeah, it's like Pong. Anyways, let's take a look at his pictures of what they're showing. What he says is a picture of an Earth. So, and you should see the comments in here. There's people like, "This is breathtaking. You move me." The Globies are like, because of these photos, supposedly from Discovery, it's really bad. But this is part of TFE. You see it's photos from the TFE from space. So they got all their... Yeah, I know.
Just saying fake to anything that contradicts your
What were you saying, Chevy?
I just wasn't to say who coordinated all this.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I wish I knew.
Judged conclusion. And in reality, we all know that is exactly what you're doing and have always done. So get out of here. If you want to reject all evidence from space on principle, that's your personal choice and nobody can stop you.
Here comes Justin.
You're allowed to be irrational, but that doesn't mean that...
Mr. Johnson, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
What's up, dude?
Oh, no problem, man. So what do you think of Peter Markley there, sir? What's your opinion on this jackass?
My idol, man.
Oh, yeah. I think we did like 4 streams with him. It was really fun.
Well, you tolerate him for that long, huh?
Yeah, he came back and forth. He wanted to debate about the angular size of the sun, how it traveled. He wanted to debate all the flat Earth talking points on the sun and the moon.
He didn't get unhinged and leave, huh? He didn't take off.
No.
He kept no.
Well, he stayed there for a while, but he didn't really present any real evidence, neither. So.
Right.
Yeah. He just called us names. Basically, we're robothanists. Flat earthers are really just. He didn't actually say they're stupid, but he alluded to it. You know, we're ancient, stupid, cavemen like. We don't investigate anything. I don't think ever. Hey Ryan, how you doing tonight? Valley and Godhart's in there. I had to say hi to him.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys. So between you and Mr. Austin, so what were you attacking about TFE? I want to know. Just kind of curious, Justin. Anything in particular you?
Yeah, you guys hear me just fine?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you're
Awesome.
coming through.
Awesome. I'm still a noob here, so I'm always behind a little. But I got to figure it out now. I had to mute my YouTube. I always forget to do that, and I hear an echo, but I got it now. What was the question? It was about Witsit.
Yeah, what did you say to Witsit to basically get you demodded?
Oh, well, I've contributed to all those guys, so I've had a pretty extensive toolbox of wrenches. I was a mod on Jaren and Witsit, but I unsubscribed to all of them as soon as they came back from, alleged Antarctica. But I never got the wrench taken away. So on my last stream, I had no idea that he was even going live, and he went live during my live. So we're like, hell, let's just mirror it, and apparently all the people that were in my chat just kind of started hopping in their chat, and we were just picking them apart. We weren't rude or anything, but obviously if you speak against Witsit, then they love to censor, so their moderators couldn't block me or nothing for, because I had a wrench. So it took Witsit, which I knew it was coming. It was inevitable, as soon as he started hearing all the smack talk. Because like I said, we weren't talking bad. We were just talking facts, But, he called me out like as if I was one of the ones that just jumped on every train of, everything is, because they act like they debunked all these theories of, anomalies. Just because he says they're debunked, that means they're debunked, Well,
but, I heard he was the #1 expert on flat Earth ever, and their little debate. Him and Jaren both, they were top dogs in the flat Earth arena.
Yeah, not anymore.
That was a big flat Earth comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, just monstrous. Hey Scott, can you hear us now?
Still not coming through.
You're not coming through, Scott. Dude, I don't know what it is. Between Scott and Lev, they're gonna have problems.
But the good part about it was that, because I spent so long over there in that community, a lot of people respect me. They know I have a good heart. I've done nothing but good things. I've never done anything nefarious to make anybody hate me, Right. So it was actually a very good opportunity because I'd rather talk to the people in the chat and try to enlighten them to wake the fuck up, rather than try to convince Witsit to. I don't give a shit about Witsit, he's a liar, period. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a real good opportunity to try to just get some people to wake up. And, there was a couple people I had in mind, particularly like Titus. I really like Titus, just a good person, and it's just unfortunate that they're still taking that bait, people are still giving them money and acting like I'm crazy or something. But it was kind of just about that, and just going in there, and we were in there for a good couple hours, but he would like ignore Vlad's chats, and they would time people out that were from my chat, because if you have any opposing thing to say, then it's detrimental, and they'll just get rid of you,
Mm-hmm.
But
they censor the chat.
Yeah, but in the end, it's like he just gave me recognition because he said my name a couple times. He read every chat I put in there. And even when he said, I'm not even going to say his name anymore, and then he would still go back and read my chats, but not say my name. But he wouldn't read anybody else's chats. So I know I had him by the balls. But,
nice.
and then he took the wrench and started just, slandering me, saying that I was just on every bandwagon, that basically I'm just an anti-truther, but
of course you are.
And then he was like, he goes into talking about how he was wondering who should mod the debate the other day, yesterday or whatever. And I said, I'm down. He's like, what are you talking about, man? You just slandered me left and right. Now you're asking to be the moderator. I thought it was pretty funny.
Nice. So he got Sean to do it at least. Sean was non-biased, I guess, but I think Sean's got something in this, man.
He does.
He wants to push the Enoch model. He's trying to work on it, which I commend him for that. But I don't know. He's got something else in it besides that. I think. I'm not saying I know, but it just seems like it to me. And Titus, isn't he a mod over on Austin's channel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sean really won't go in on Austin either. He don't care about Jaron, but I can see he really doesn't want to talk too badly about Austin.
I didn't want to either, just as much as anybody,
Yeah.
I like those guys a lot, until
back in the day, Austin was a great debater, dude. I watched some of his old debates, and he ripped McToon a new asshole in a minute, dude.
Oh yeah, I've learned a lot from even the idiots, Jaron. I can't stand Jaron, but I've learned some shit from him. I'm not going to say I haven't, but it's all irrelevant. It's a liar's a liar, an ace and ace, a spade's a spade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Nathan and QE pulled a whole bunch of debates they did with Austin, and he double spoke like over 700 different times. QE's really methodical about it. He'll go back and listen to the statements they make after when they're debating them, and he'll get their double speak. They'll say basically light is a wave, and then light is a particle. Then they don't know what light really is. They're trying to make ether science for the most part. Basically, I get that. There's a lot of people.
You heard me say it on David Banner's show because I was talking about. I was talking about my Taurus field and stuff like. I said that everything's made out of light because everything's energy, right? So then Witzig's trying to explain it for the past 3 years. He's not been able to explain it because he says things which contradicts the next thing he says. So he's not.
That's what he means by double speak.
Even though his name says it gets
it. Selective truth. Selective truth.
Yeah. If you can't prove the ether is propagating everything or what it really is, just call it the ether. You don't know, and we'll say it's God or whatever you want to call it. But there's obviously something there that we can't actually scientifically test or prove. So then why bring it in as a scientific fact? Why bring it into a debate? No,
they like to muddy the waters,
Yeah.
Because really, with one or two proofs, that's all we really need. Water is enough for me, I don't think we need 50 million proofs. But once you get more involved into the flat earth community, you want to know more. And then, newcomers come in and see us just ascertaining ideas and getting way deep. And really, it's just muddying the waters for the newer people, It's
it's going to make it convoluted. Yeah.
They'll get it simple.
Put off by it. Yeah. They don't want to get involved in all that. Most normal people won't listen to you very long when you start talking about this stuff, get really deep into it. They won't even understand or comprehend it for the most part. Anyways, let's go back to Peter Markley for a minute and see what he's got to show us. This is going to be cute.
That you have an argument to persuade others. You're trying to join a horse race with no horse. That is not how this works. If any of you comment saying that space photos are fake, I will simply reply, criteria, please. No criteria, no discussion. Just shut up and get out. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the fun part. There is a satellite in space right now called Deep Space Climate Observatory, or DISCOVER for short. You know how space engineers love their acronyms. Some of you may recognize this as the satellite that captured a transit of the moon across the Earth back in 2015, which made news and, of course, caused flat earthers to go nuts. What's cool about DISCOVER is that it orbits the L1 Lagrange point between Earth and Sun. What the heck is a Lagrange point? Well, the DISCOVER website calls it a neutral gravity point, or the place where the...
I got a problem already. He's talking about gravity and Lagrange points. I know. Are those actual things? Like, are the gravitational fields across our universe that we have to deal with on a daily? Can you prove it?
Now we got neutral gravity points.
Yeah.
Not just gravity.
So when we asked for a demonstration, that was, we got to go to space to prove it. Okay, so why don't they do this? Why don't they go to space, take a satellite, take a camera up, and show us these points and these orbits in real time? Seriously, honestly, put a video camera on a satellite and video its actual orbit and send it back to Earth. I don't care how long it takes for whatever satellite's out there, and I'll shut the up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. They've had years and years. They've been way ahead of this, way farther out in front of flat Earth, and it's like you still haven't came up with anything new. Not to mention, that's the same thing they do to flat earthers. It's like, why don't you go up in space? And it's like, you obviously know that we haven't been there, for one, but for two, we don't have the means or the capabilities or the backing to do it.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting to see the focal length on that camera that took this picture you're going to see here. So, matter of fact, let's jump out to it. You get neutral gravity points with Lagrange and orbital mechanics as it goes. So if anybody has ever looked into it enough, you'll understand what they're actually talking about. Here's the photos. You see where I'm going now? He's going to show these. This is going to be fun.
1 million miles away. Not only that, but it captures a new full-frame photo of Earth from this location about once every 2 hours and publishes it near real-time for free on this website. You can even browse an archive of these photos going back years. But I don't want to go back years. I just want to go back a few weeks to this past December between the 14th and the 18th. Can you guess why? That's right. TFE, the final experiment. While they were in Antarctica pointing their cameras up at the sun, Discover was floating out there at L1 pointing its camera back down at them. And yes, it got photos of their location in Antarctica from the viewpoint of the sun. Wow, doesn't that just ice the cake? Not only that, but as I looked at these photos, I learned that there's a documented public API that lets you download JSON metadata accompanying every single photo in the archive. And this metadata includes spacecraft telemetry. Whoa! So, please sit back and enjoy my geometrically accurate CGI reconstruction of the moment when the Discover satellite captured photos of my friends in Antarctica.
CGI.
Now, of course, you're not going to see them in the photos. It's only 2048 pixels across the whole Earth. They're way too small. But we know they're in there, and that's enough for me.
Okay, now 268,000 pixels across the Earth. So that's an actual measurement now. Think about it.
Prove that. Besides the point, yeah.
So you got a metabank full of rendered photos of the Earth, and you send them out with telemetry data attached to it for each one of them. I would love to see the telemetry data. I know tons of people who want to see it. There's people who want to pull that telemetry data apart, and there's actually the only reference to in telemetry data is the flat plane. It really is. It's all developed off a flat plane.
I mean, can you really trust a guy that has his hair cut by his mom? So
I don't think Mom even did that. I just think
they're always related too, aren't they?
Yeah. They are. Well, yeah.
They're never real men, if you notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're either real boy-like or, on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that look on that face, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had blue hair more than once.
Gary and a $3 bill.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have much of a backbone. Let's put it that way. Right, let's look at these pictures real quick. Despite Markley's appearance and his demeanor. Very professionally drawn his the orbit status of Discovery around L1, the Lagrange point 1 there. See how symmetric that is? Well drawn, dude. Well done.
Good job.
I know. But this is part of TFE.
Is that a star or sun behind that? What is that to the site? To the right.
This right here, I'm pretty sure that's the sun.
That's what I thought. It looks just like the one at the TFE. Isn't that weird?
Strange.
Just as fake.
Yeah. But remember, he said it's a CGI rendering. So. But the photos aren't.
So is theirs.
Supposedly. Yeah. Well, they wouldn't do anything like that. Why would they lie? I think they would. They got a lot of money riding on it.
Yeah, there's way too many obvious problems there.
Well, from what I can tell, it's all been constructed with computers, and even the gentleman that used to be a flat earther used to say that many a year ago that everything he's ever looked at, any photos from space, was actually looked like it was actually done up in a computer, like especially like Saturn and Jupiter are all just done computer rendered actually. Oh, Scott's trying to get in again. Let's see. Is it going to work?
One of these times.
Scott! Earth to Scott! Oh, we're out with the Discovery satellite now. Yeah. It's over a couple of million miles away from Earth by now. It's probably even further than that. I guess the Lagrange points actually change, and the orbits have to move. And hey, try it now, Scott. Say something. I see an S. No? It wasn't meant to be, I'm supposing. I'm trying to think what I can do to help him out get in here. Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with the settings or something, like the camera settings or anything, does it?
Let me go into my settings and see if I can find them. And see if I give them access. When I'm actually sharing like this, it's hard to get into my options.
Yeah.
He's pretty experienced with this stuff, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he
comes on all the time.
Yeah,
he never has any problems. So
if it was me, it'd make sense. It's my ignorance. That's all that is.
I ain't much better, man.
I'm learning though. Hey, I appreciate you a lot, man. I wanted to tell you, Cubby, when you were in my stream when I went to Antarctica and all that. It was a lot of fun, man. And
yeah, man.
I'm just glad to have you there, man. I look back at it and like go watch it, and it's just such a good time, man.
Yeah, I'm enjoying your streams, man. When I can catch up on them, I try and get on them lives, but everybody's got a stream now, so it's like,
yeah. I was just trying to do it when everybody isn't, I don't want to step on toes, and it's just kind of more like an after party and just, when days are dead or whatever. But I'm sure it'll grow into more because I'm feeling more and more comfortable with it and just getting better with knowing how the hell to run it,
Okay, gentlemen, I'll be right back.
No problem.
I'm gonna hit play on this. You just take a look at these photos. You'll enjoy this.
Welcome to Antarctica. Sometimes you're wrong, life. Where's the guns, Nathan?
Check this out. Like when they pause it, you can see like each continent. That's half the world right there.
Whoa, what is that?
South America's half the world.
Not really, and I'm pretty sure there's more to it than that. Hey, Scott, did you get it to work this time? Hold on. See if Scott's in. Nope. Sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
Dang it.
Yeah, just every time they were taking a shot and just like stopping, it's like each continent would rotate a little bit, and it was half the world if you think about it, because you could see half the world if this was real, but each continent would be like consuming half the world.
Right.
It's
On
like
a globe,
proportionally, yeah. It's just the proportions are ridiculous.
Yeah, they do work at the scale with these photos. They do think about the math, so they try to do it the best they can. And if you look at some of the renderings on it, you can see it looks like it's modeled almost. Let's see if he's trying it again. Count Scotula. No? All right. He's not here.
This is supposed to be Hemawari. Is that what this is?
No, this is Discovery. Discovery was set up a while back, supposedly, and it's been up in orbit for a long time. And it's traveling at a great speed, too. I don't know how they can get an angular shot at over 1 million miles away of Earth. But I guess they're saying these are just pixels. Like it's a very small picture. I'm just wondering what kind of camera they're using to do this kind of shit with. I've never heard of it. At 1 million miles away, you're getting 280, not 200, but 2,800 some odd pixels across the entire mass of the Earth.
Plus, the Earth is spinning how fast while all this is going on?
Yeah, it's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's traveling with the arm of the galaxy at another what?
This is just crazy, man.
4 different directions.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Try taking a picture out of a car. That's hard enough.
Right.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have a slow motion video of cactuses saguaros in the Arizona desert, just with a mountain range, and you can get the parallax as you go. And I got it in real slow motion. I forgot what speed it was at, but it's awesome photograph or short video actually. So he's going to explain this little thing here. This is an ice crystal on the Earth that causes this reflection. Check this shit out.
This turned into its own little mystery for me, which I started asking about to see if anybody knew the answer. While I was doing this, some intrepid citizen on Michael Toon's Discord server had the brilliant idea of following the contact links at the bottom of the Discover website and asking the experts themselves. And lo and behold, they got a reply. The NASA employees in charge of the satellite gave us the answer. They call it a glint. It's a known phenomenon where sunlight reflects on ice crystals in the atmosphere.
From 1 million miles away.
Now, hold on. From 1 million miles away, they're getting a glint out of ice crystals in clouds.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense?
Yeah, it's got to be real.
Yeah. Not really.
1 million miles away.
No, listen,
they normalize those big numbers, don't they? You know,
yeah.
Just throw them around like they're just perfectly possible.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, I've been messed with all week, dude. My computer shut down. My internet got cut off. I've been hacked. Somebody hacked my accounts. It got my phone number and all my IP addresses and stuff. Yeah. Jeez. Happens all the time. Yeah. Half of it comes out of Discord, so I try to stay off of there.
I don't even go to that place. I don't do Discord. I try and keep my digital footprint as low as possible.
Yeah. Well, I got people pretending me and actually asking PJ if I could borrow money from them. Sending pictures they got up my Discord. I'm Roger. Look. No, you're not. Back to the 1 million miles away.
Space Climate Observatory, Discover, is capturing sparkling glints of light in images of Earth. The Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera, EPIC, on board Discover has seen hundreds of these flashes, caused by sunlight reflecting off tiny ice particles floating in the air almost horizontally.
So along with icing on the cake, we got a side of ice cream too. This was just so fun and cool, and I hope you thought so too.
Okay. Did you think that was so fun and cool, guys? I know.
No, I'm just glad it's
cherry on top. Cherry on top.
Man, TFE's a stretch, dude. They're going that far.
I can't believe I don't know. I can't believe they're still going on about it. It's only, already been 5-6 months since that happened.
Well, I'm heading down myself. So
Yeah.
this December, if I get it, if not this December, it's going to be next December. But
Yeah.
I'm going to go down, and I'm going to actually show people exactly what goes on. No tricks, no Hollywood, just straight up a live stream of the 80th parallel in the sun. That's what we're looking for.
I think it's a dangerous thing to do. I think that's a place of compromised. If you go there with that intent, then they just have to maintain. That's their last straw. If that cat gets out of the bag, then they're dust. Not that they already aren't in our opinions, but to the other sheep, that's they have to maintain that lie at all costs.
Well, it's kind of, I guess it's my reputation because I called Duffy out on it when he didn't take me the first time. And it pissed me off because I knew something was up to begin with. Mm-hmm. And to expose it for what it is, now they're making this documentary. They want to cement it in stone. There's a whole bunch of organizations. There's one called PEX. The other one that he went with, what's the name of that? The logistics company?
Antarctic logistics expeditions or something like that.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to build a power base so they can do tours. All the penguin tours in Antarctica would, if they could promote a midnight sun that they don't have to even have a full midnight sun. People will go down and just get the anomaly of daylight for more than, I think it's the longest I've seen it. It was 19 hours was the longest day I've seen on it. But there's certain parts of Antarctica where they say there's 24-hour suns, but they don't match up with the other parts, and we never get any video of it. So,
not to be Debbie Downer or anything, but like, have you thought, because they had, like they were saying, they had the perfect window of opportunity of weather. Like, have you thought, like, what if the weather doesn't work out, or what if your internet isn't, like, somebody's jacking with the internet when you get there and you can't do what you want to do? Have you really like game planned like a backup plan or anything?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to start setting up this next month. I'm going to go see what I can actually get my hands on while I'm down there. If I can get a decent stream out of there, I'll give it a shot. For backup, I don't know if that's going to be kind of hard because like there's only one landline that goes to Antarctica, right?
Yeah. So you might have to. I don't know, do some kind of like I put identifier. You might have to just film, record it, not necessarily be a live stream. If something ain't working out, and then just have some kind of identifiers in there that they didn't have that proves that it's whatever day and time and all that. Timestamps, whatever the case is. I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but
if I'm doing a digital recording, I mean, most of the devices actually will timestamp it actually going on.
Right. But
I think you're a bit on the crazy side for even going, man. I mean, we know there's no damn sun under there, and I'm with you, man. I think that, heck yeah, we need to go, absolutely. But knowing the enemy and knowing what it means to them to keep that cat in the bag, you're definitely going to be
step on some toes.
Yeah. Oh boy, and I don't think it's a game to these people, and they act like anybody can go run the marathon, do whatever, but I'm guaranteeing you're not just gonna go there and show these people wrong and come on back with no event. I think you're crazy.
It is crazy, yes. But I'm in the end of my like apex of life, dude. I got my grandkids. They're growing up. They're becoming young people. So, this would be something to put in the flag in the top of everything I've done.
I'm just curious if they're even sending you to Antarctica. You could be on some island on the outskirts of it, and they're telling you you're in. I'm not saying you, but whoever's going down there, that they're just sending you some outlying island on the outskirts of South America somewhere. Because there's ice and snow on those places too, and then you're not really going to Antarctica, so to speak, because nobody's allowed there or whatever. But
I'm going to bring in a compass with me, and I'm actually going to do compass work when I get down there. I'm going to use mapping
Not like Jaren's, right? You gotta have it right side up.
And aren't compasses supposed to work less and less the farther away from the north you get, and that's why they have magnetic declination and all the calculations for that?
Well, they calculate off of the stars to do that. So
yeah,
I'll
but
have to
they
do
act
that.
like they worked normal when they were down there. But everybody keeps giving them the benefit of the doubt, like they went, because apparently you're an idiot if you didn't think they went. But regardless of whether the sun was faked or not, there's a lot of people that give them that benefit of the doubt that they did go. And there's plenty of evidence to support that is a stage. You could take a piece of paper or a level and literally put it across the entire screen where it meets Union Glacier, and there's no deviation whatsoever. It's like the ground meeting the backdrop.
I think they went somewhere. I just don't personally know where it was. Like, was it Union Glacier? I don't know. Is Union Glacier a real thing? I don't know. They went somewhere, filmed for a day or two just to say they went there, and then the rest is who knows what.
Have you guys seen the Space Buster Scam-Artica or whatever it is?
Yeah, I've seen
maybe.
It. Yeah.
I mean, even he gives them the benefit of the doubt that they went, but he shows it pretty good where he shows all the latitudes and how it should be the same in the north if you're on the same latitude, and how it's like gets up to 50 degrees there when there's a 24-hour sun in the north. But at the same exact latitude of the south on the opposite side, it should be the same 6 months later or whatever. But it just nothing adds up. It never does.
I did a show on his show, and I did a show previous to that. I actually took Nat Geo and a couple other documentaries and compared north to south, and they do not match up temperature-wise, even daylight-wise during the solstice. They don't. They're not the same. Different climates, dude, completely. And you know what happened to that stream, JJ? They pulled it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, they did not want me to present that to the public. How the climates do not match, or the daylight hours do not match north to south. This was their documentaries, man. It straight up was.
That's why, I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I just did it all on my lonesome. I just got up one day, I got tired of hearing about it, so I went and I looked up what the north and the south were on the mainstream and compared them side by side on a 2-hour stream. And none of them were comparative at all. Go ahead.
I was just saying, that's with Jaren's whole footage, it's all just why I say that all his footage is basically stuff proving that I went somewhere. It's not like he didn't have any tests or anything. It was just here I am, here's some tents, here's some porta potties, here's this and that. They didn't show any concrete proof of a 24-hour sun or do any testing or anything. Nope. I slept under a table, or there's no proof. To me, it was just they went somewhere, for maybe a day, couple hours, I don't know, just to say, oh, we went somewhere. We're gonna say it's Union Glacier, but who really knows? I can't truly prove that, just to put that on film. And then the rest, he's just, I don't know. It's all, the rest of it's all, whatever.
It was all about proving they went for the most part. That's what you're saying.
Basically.
You think they went to Serenas?
I think they went there. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the airport.
Too. Yeah.
So let's get to the crux of the matter. Let's take a look at Austin and Jaren and Sean debate. You've watched this, haven't you, JJ?
I caught part of it today. I think Mojo streamed some of it, and then PJ also was streaming it. But I was working all day, so I just caught parts of it.
I did 10 minutes of it last night. Just a couple of things that caught my eye between Jaren and Austin, just agreeing on things. They're not really debating.
Nah.
He's it's like satire almost, is what it seemed like to me.
Well, that's their way to make it look like it's not completely fake. If they all come back with the same ideology, then boy, is that obvious, but they all come back with, oh, one thinks this, one thinks that, it's like we're supposed to just buy into that. It's organic because of that, is what I see. Because why wouldn't Witsit flip too, I don't know.
Well, he's stuck in it with the big ether boys, the big ball believers that think we're geocentric, we're not moving, but we live on a big globe. There's a whole group of them, dude. In the ether cosmology realm, you'll find some big globers that they actually think the Earth is bigger than what they claim it is, that we're at the center of the universe and everything goes out from the center of the globe.
So they still believe in gravity, even though we're geocentric?
Yeah, they have a Planck theory. You ever heard of it?
Not really.
Well, the Planck theory is that everything's vibrating. The harder solid masses are vibrating at a slow rate at the center of the core, and it creates the entire universe out through vibration into the ether.
Yeah, that's just
That's
as bad as any heliocentric belief. It's no better, in my opinion.
yeah. It's funny, but yeah, that's what the groups that he's even Duffy's over on their websites telling him he's proved the shape of the Earth, and he's telling them that he believes in young dinosaur theory. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Oh, God,
Young
God created
dinosaur theory?
dinosaurs. Yeah.
Say what?
God created dinosaurs, dude.
All right.
Yeah, the
But I
only
mean,
reason those dinosaurs existed is so they can think that we could be wiped out by meteor showers.
And create Sinclair gas stations.
Yeah, ain't nothing coming in and nothing going out of this place. You know, you have to be grounded to survive. If you leave this place, you cannot survive.
Within that big sphere model, there's a bigger sphere outside of it. I'm not a kid. Beyond the ether. Yeah. There's a globe within a globe within a globe. And that's where you see all these vast stars. And,
interesting.
It is. It's an interesting concept, but it's not scientifically validated. That's where I'm going with it. You know, they can't really prove it. It's just a theory. And most of these cosmological things, even the standard model, is nothing but based on a lot of theories too. And Answers in Genesis is responsible for leading the pack within the Christian world. And Danny Faulkner's got a lot of it. You know who that is, right?
It doesn't ring a bell to me. Danny Faulkner?
Danny Faulkner.
Faulkner. That don't ring a bell to me.
He's with a group called Answers in Genesis. They do. He's an astrophysicist who's a Christian who believes that we live on a sphere, and all the basic cosmology that the mainstream push is actually real. And we presented him with many questions to refute a lot of the globe claims, and he never has an answer. But he always says, "I always have answers for flat earthers." So,
of course,
yeah. Well, you ever heard of Nathan Thompson?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he caught up with Faulkner at one of the conventions because he used to hang out at Flat Earth conventions for some reason. I don't know. And he asked him a question: how do you have gas pressure without containment? And for like almost 2.5 minutes, he sat there just with a blank stare on his face, and he was just breathing heavy. He couldn't come up with an answer.
Well, gravity is a container.
Yeah, but we've
at its weakest point.
Yeah, God.
It can't hold gas, without containment on the ground where it's the strongest, but it can hold gas contained at its weakest point the farther you get away from Earth.
Yeah, that's weird.
That Lagrange point.
Yeah, those Lagrange points are a bitch. Yeah, it holds those satellites though in perfect orbit, man.
Insanity.
Yeah, insanity. Yeah, I don't know what else I could call it. Let's take a look at this little debate right quick. This concept came from the Catholic Church, right? The heliocentric concept, and it was adopted by all the royal families throughout the ages, and they pushed this global idea, and they used geodetic surveying basically to create the globe what it is, and that's where it all really got its start. But it all came from elevation angles from a flat plane. Its origins.
Do you think it's possible that they just still because they say that all the observations of the sky match the globe, which whatever, but I'm thinking it's possible that they just hijack our toroidal field. What if the toroidal field was 3959 or 24901 at the I don't know. They like to reverse engineer a lot of things.
Yeah, what I found, and this is with dealing with flat Earth debate, is what they call terrestrial refraction is the circumference. So they use the refraction, whether there's refraction going on or not. They add it to their math anyways. So it's like a pre-assumption to start with that light is refracting around the globe completely at that rate. So that's what they add to the math to get the globular function, you might say. It's not necessarily anything physical, but on certain days that refraction doesn't do what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where you get your black swan observations from. Most of them where you can see like over, let's say, who Pablo's dog does standard observations over 30 miles, and he'll show you what refraction is and what it isn't. He does pans over 30-day periods in the same location. And there's days when he can see almost 50 miles horizons, which is well beyond the physical geometric curve of the sphere. If the Earth was actually shaped in a sphere shape, you wouldn't be able to see it. It would drop over distance or slope over distance. It would drop away from you. You wouldn't be able to see it. But there's days when you can see it for weeks at a time. It's not a mirage effect. It's the refraction index is really low, and you don't get refractive levels. So you actually can see that far with optics. So that's the Earth curve has been debunked. Let's just put it
that right.
Yeah. So here they are, the three amigos. I like Sean. Sean's a good guy. I think he's got a good heart somewhere
He's
down
a bit
there.
of a gatekeeper as well. You know, when this ship first went down, if you went over there, and
I remember
they just like to censor the crap out of us.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to talk about opposing opinions. Apparently,
he welcomed them with open arms when they got back. I remember. He brought them on a channel.
So did Space Busters. So did Globe Busters. So did Karen B. So I mean, the list goes on and on. But it's a good thing because it just really shows us who's who. You know, not that a lot of you guys don't already know, but I'm late to the party. I'm just going to be completely honest about. A lot of people knew these guys were grifters long before they went, and I'm just, I guess, new to the party because I just got woken up after they went. You know, realistically.
Yeah.
There's
so
never,
many
right?
tells.
Yeah.
There were a lot of tells, especially with Austin and Jared.
Mm-hmm.
They went without even really questioning anything. But I wish I were a fly on the wall. Let's put it that way.
Whatever happened to credibility? You know, like why would you even comply with them in the first place when they're the compulsive known liars that have done nothing but, you know, victimize humanity and the children and generationally, you know, and we're going to sit here and act like, oh, we'll go play along, you know, just why would you even have, I don't care if it's free or not. I don't think we should ever comply with anything, any ideas they have.
No. Well, I mean, thinking for yourself is not bad, but he screams that he's telling the truth constantly, which is really stupid. Jaren, that is.
Oh yeah.
They don't believe me. I'm a truther. What kind of truther are you? We're asking questions. We want to see this documentation. We want to see all of it. Instead of just like he came on the offensive to start with and started calling us names when they got back. But right before he left, I went on Speaker's Corner before, like I think it was a week of the actual event, and I basically said, "Have fun with your hit piece." Like we got it back and forth. Yeah, it was fun. And Jaren's not a real easy guy to get along with in person. I'm pretty sure of it.
I had never liked the guy, but I haven't been in this as long as a lot of you guys. You
just got to give more money. That's all. Then he's real easy to get along with.
But I never really cared for the guy. Austin, I actually liked, you know, for a while, but you know, after the TFE thing, I was just like, he's just another one. But anyway.
Well, Austin's on the right track, I think, when it comes to a lot of things, like the radius of the Earth. That they actually, the way they get the derivative of the radius of the Earth has been falsified over the centuries for a long time, and he knows this. He knows a lot of this stuff. The anomalies that happen in the sky. The thing is, if you ever watched Taboo Conspiracy, have you ever seen him, JJ?
I have.
Okay. Did you watch the null hypothesis he did?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, dude, get a chance, go watch it. He actually took a celestial observation and a terrestrial observation, and he disproved the Earth's convexity with it. In other words, it didn't match the globe prediction. He's up here in Colorado, this doctor that did it. He got a theodolite. He calibrated it himself. He didn't let anybody monkey with it. He bought a real high-end one, and he went out, took a theodolite, and he actually went to, what's the name of the mountain up here that he went to?
Who are you talking about? Ross?
Was it
in the Rockies there?
Oh,
it's in the Rockies here. It's one of the popular mountains up here. But there's a star that was supposed to
Pikes
be
Peak.
Yeah, that's it. That's where he went. He went to Pikes Peak. He actually lives right beside of it. He's a doctor. He's wealthy. He's well-to-do, but he's a flat earther. And he actually disproved their hypothesis of where the star should actually be with the globe model with their measurements and a theodolite. The star was not where it was supposed to be. It was above the mountain instead of beyond the mountain on a curved surface. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
He got observation. They're going through a whole bunch of them on ether cosmology, his work, and not that I'm mad at the ether cosmology, but they're pulling apart the observations that they make with the theodolites to claim that actually proves the sphere. They use theodolites to do tangent points to prove the sphericity of the Earth. That's their observations they claim that make it spherical, but they actually claim that the Earth is a curved surface too. And level curves and sea level curves and all kinds of other stuff.
It's all nonsensical.
It's all axiomatically wrong, dude.
Yeah.
Level has no part higher or lower than the other.
Yeah. Well, just as simple, even if you don't get into all the theodolites or whatever, it's like right now at nighttime you have to be facing away from the sun. So allegedly on the ball we're facing away from the sun, and you look up and see the constellations. Well, 6 months later you have to face the other way, the opposite way, because you still have to face away from the sun for it to be nighttime, but you see the same stars.
Yeah.
So to me,
they don't lose.
That's even hard to believe.
There's a lot more than that. There's one debate that McToon did with a guy named I can't remember this guy's name. He's a local flat earther. He's in the group, goes off and on, but he actually disproved tilt by the location of the stars during the seasons. He goes through the whole panorama of stellarium, and he took it with him, and he showed McToon that the Earth doesn't tilt at all. You wouldn't be able to see certain stars at certain times due to the tilt, but we could see these stars.
Their tilt away.
Yeah.
You can't take their tilt away. That's their hand dismissal. I argued one day with Rufus one day about that.
You argue with Rufus? Oh my god!
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was ridiculous. But of course, it was the tilt is the reason why you could see the same stars, even though you're 180 million miles on the other side of the sun, facing the opposite direction. That tilt, buddy, it's magical. It's just like their Lagrange zone. Everything's magical and nonsensical.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go watch that. Taboo's got. I'll get it off his channel, but if you got like an hour or two, it's really tedious. But he'll walk you through the degrees on the theodolite and where you're supposed to see the star, where you're not supposed to be the star. He gives you a null hypothesis, if flat, and if you don't really pay attention to what he's saying and you just watch the observation, you'll see that the star was actually above Pikes Peak. I think, or beyond it. I can't remember which one it was, but it proved that their terrestrial refraction actually flattens out the Earth, literally. It's kind of odd, and it'll fuck with your head, but the real diehard globies freak out when you start disproving what they think is real.
Do you have refraction without humidity?
Well, they claim there is. There's always terrestrial refraction. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to, because if there's no humidity, if there's no moisture in space, how do you get how do you get refraction?
Well, you can't get refraction in a vacuum for that much.
Right. Yeah, might tough.
All right, let me start this thing. Ready?
Okay, what is up, guys? Sorry for the delay. Everything went wrong for the first time right before this debate, so it should be interesting. We wanted to give you guys a chance to get here. So this is the long-awaited debate that has been requested by everyone 1,000 times. So here we are. Jared and I are going to be debating, is the Earth a globe? So yeah, I'll just go ahead and hand it over to the moderator, which is Sean Griffin from Keenan Context.
Welcome, everyone. This is the infamous debate, is the Earth a globe? Jaron Campanella of Jaronism. Austin Whitsitt.
Well, you heard it. It's infamous.
Whitsitt gets it. Austin.
Yeah, and everyone requested this debate 1,000 times.
Right.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Well, for them, it shows all three of us.
Okay. Okay.
You just can't see.
So welcome everyone. This is possibly round one of this epic debate going down.
Ding ding.
Tonight
Epic.
is the Earth a Globe, and I think Jaron Campanella is going to be in the affirmative position, so he's going to go first. The format for the debate will be 10-minute openings, 7-minute rebuttals, followed by 30 minutes of open cross-exam between the two interlocutors, and then we're going to be taking questions from the audience for a 30-minute Q&A. So be sure to hold your questions till about midway through the debate. That way they don't get lost in the abundance of questions flowing in. And Jaron, if you're ready, we can go ahead and hear your opening.
Yep, I'm going to set my timer so I have a little clock here going. And we're good to go. Okay, and we said 10 minutes. Okay. We will... Can we add to this one? Good enough. All right, and let me know, can you just tell me when we have like 5 minutes and then 1 minute or something?
Can do.
Thank you much. Are we good to go?
Yeah, I'll start the time when you start your speaking.
Sounds good. All right, so thanks everybody for being here. Obviously, thanks for inviting me, Austin. Thanks for moderating, Sean. I know it was last second. Much appreciated. So, and let me begin by saying hello to the former colleagues, friends I have. I wish it was under better circumstances. Unfortunately, as you know, tonight I'm debating somebody I once stood next to in the Flat Earth community, Austin Whitsitt. We ran summits, Globebusters. We spoke at conferences. We used a microphone and speaker at Venice Beach. We claimed to seek truth, and the same I thought could be.
You heard that, right? They shared a microphone at Venice Beach, and they declared truth. That was just funny as hell to me.
I like how he said, "Thanks for inviting me," right prior to me then going on to torch you and talk bad about you. But anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. But Austin actually sat there and took it for the most part, dude. He really did.
Does it just me, or does Jaron look different? I hadn't seen him in a while because I don't watch his crap, but I've seen this a few times now because it's been making the rounds today. But it's like
somebody said he looked like he lost weight.
Someone said I think he looks like his soul's been sucked out of him or something. But
well, I'm pretty sure he crossed that checkerboard floor, didn't he?
Yeah, no kidding. But he mentions that, everybody's been saying those kind of things about him.
But you remember the Christmas poem he did, right?
Oh, yeah.
When he got back?
Yeah.
That was lovely.
Yeah, AI. Yeah, sure.
No wonder you got friends or not. Let's back to it.
He said for all of you, originally, the difference is that I actually meant it.
Look.
Others did as
Bev's
well.
Here.
They've escaped the flat earth. We weren't here for a social movement. While I might agree with the ideas of that, those can be done in other ways. We were here for truth and a scientific truth. Once that truth is gone, that's it, game over. So I spent a decade researching.
What was scientific about all that? Anything?
Nothing that they did, that's for sure.
I'm speechless.
They're observations, yeah, but does it take is there any cause and effect relationship that they determined at all?
None.
So, Bev, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Do you not see the trap that may be being played here for you guys?
I already know.
Trap for me? No, I don't have a trap, dude.
Are you saying that making Austin look like the good guy again?
No. What I'm saying is that this is a pay-per-view event. Like, you would never think of broadcasting like a pay-per-view UFC or anything like that.
Well, so you think a copyright strike is what you're thinking?
I'm thinking at some point, yeah, if they decide to take it down, then you're putting your channel at risk.
Well, I don't think Roger has any problems, but anybody who put it on their channel, you can't. He's just reviewing it. There's been plenty of people reviewing it. But I think if it's on your channel, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but if the original video gets took down because it's copyright issue, then any other video that has a part of that on it will also get that, won't it?
Well, I don't know.
Not a review.
I think as long as it's not the main talking point and you make it your own. Like if you're making this commentary and pausing it as much as often as you are, you're making it unique, and it falls under the fair use.
Well, you could say that about a UFC pay-per-view event as well.
And I don't think UFC.
Well, I'm just saying this pay-per-view event.
Yeah, certain companies are a lot stricter.
It's not just a random video that you're using, like from a normal, fair use thing. This is specifically from a pay-per-view only event?
Well, I'm pretty sure we got it from somebody who paid for it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, So your friend Will Duffy actually gave me a third-party strike for using.
Is that the one that? Is that the one that you blame me for?
Well, I thought it might be. They gave me another strike for a video that I named after you, and I did it on you. So I got a strike for that too.
And Will Duffy struck you for that as well, did he?
No. It was actually it was a YouTube strike for violence. I played a video that had Antifa riots in it, and that's what they gave me the strike for.
Okay, so it wasn't me then.
No, but it was your video. That's the first thing that I saw on the strikes, and then I looked into it, and I found out it was a third-party strike that Will Duffy had gave me for using TFE video. But I was reviewing it too. They're protecting the TFE, you know that, right? Anybody that has any speculation or any comments about it or any questions to ask, they're going to strike you. That's just a sign of guilt to me. That's what it is. If you can't just review it, they publish this stuff anyways. And if we're going to review it and ask questions and stuff about the stuff in the video, they strike you right away and take it down, there's something wrong, dude.
Is this the first time you've seen this today, Beth?
What?
No, it's not. He watched it on Flatsides today.
Right. I know.
Sure I didn't watch it on Flatsides.
Where did you watch it? Just out of curiosity.
Where did I watch it?
Yeah, where did you watch it?
I haven't watched it. I saw this on Rogers. Yeah, Roger put it out yesterday and showed everybody where the source was, didn't he?
Yeah, we did like 10 minutes of it, dude.
Yeah. But you were the first one. I was under the impression that this was a pay-per-view, and I'd heard that these guys want to do a separate one on YouTube because they're after making money. These are the money guys. These are the guys that are going to lead this thing. You've got the false dichotomy in one debate here, and these two dude bros could wrap this up. They could own this. All they'd have to do is get a copyright strike for anybody that's ever played any of the stuff, and that would make sure everybody that's separate from these guys.
But what's that gonna? What's that gonna do for them? Wouldn't they want more people to see it to bring attention to it?
It'd make these two guys the sole proprietors of this false dichotomy debate, wouldn't it?
Well, who cares? None of us care here. Like we both know what these two guys are about.
By the way, cares about his channel, doesn't he?
Bev, I've got 2 more channels set up already, so don't worry about it.
And you get 3 strikes anyway, right?
Yeah.
I've seen 3 people already stream this entirety.
Right.
And no strikes on them neither. So yeah.
Not yet. But I mean, you're trusting that these guys won't do that, right? Aren't you?
No,
really.
I mean, if they do, they do. That's not the point. It's like
that shows their character for one.
Yeah. It's not a fact that they couldn't, right? They could if they wanted to.
That just adds fuel to the fire then. Their credibility's already shot. I got a better way to get credible again. Let's go ahead and copyright everybody who wants to stream this.
Who's streaming the pay-per-view event.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't get into the clinics or anything, thank God. I heard they were awesome. You learn how to drink pee and all kinds of other things.
So what do you think you can gain from going over this then? Because you don't trust either of these people, do you, in this debate?
Are you saying that I shouldn't go over this? There's a couple of really stupid
what are you hoping to get out of it?
What are you hoping to get out of it by watching it right now?
I'm coming here to just let you guys know that there's a chance.
Thank God we got a savior to help us.
There's a chance there could be a play being made to get people to go over it.
Why would you care?
I don't really.
Well, there you go.
We're doing it.
Time will tell. I got a strike on my last.
I would have wrote this in the chat, but Roger's blocked me, so I can't.
You're not blocked in the chat.
I am.
Yeah, he's blocked in chat.
Oh, yes. Okay, my bad. Yeah. I'm wrong.
The thing is because like him and Elderberry come in and ask the same questions like 30 times in the chat and just spam the whole thing. So.
Mm-hmm. The other day we were talking about Flatsides, the angular size of something. Is that the size of the angle, or have you got it linked to something else?
No, usually perspective is the way to measure angular size.
No, an angle. It's just the size of an angle. Except you guys don't want to measure the angle. You want to try and look at something and call that angular size, but not measure the angle.
Well,
we like the drop is what you're talking about.
I'm talking about when you talk about an angular size difference without actually measuring the size of the angle and seeing a difference within the two angles that have been measured.
You measure more than two angles. You need to measure three angles to get a precise measurement. But yeah,
you only need two for a difference.
You just came here to debate now. We should just get back to you are, man. You came.
We can do fuck all with an angle, dude. That's really the truth.
Well, you can measure it. That's the thing. Yeah, you can not measure it and imagine you can do loads with it. The unmeasured angle. Imagine all the things you can do with that.
What an unmeasured angle is that?
The unmeasured angle when you talk about angular size.
So the actual dimensions of the object go away from you at degrees. We don't measure those to get angular size? Is that what you're saying?
Is the 90 ever measured?
The 90? I'm pretty sure it is. Actually, when you're doing celestial navigation especially, it's done.
Where does it get measured?
You have to measure it, dude, if you're finding your location.
What's 90 times 69?
You don't have to do 69, dude. Sorry, I hate to tell you that.
You don't have to do 69, but that's the...
No.
That's
don't
go to Nathan's 69, dude.
You better know who you're doing it with.
Nathan's 69, is it? Is that because Nathan sticks to it?
That's it. That's him, dude. There's a lot of other navigators at seas that don't use 69 degrees.
69 miles.
Miles, sorry. 60 and there's
1 degree. Does the 1 degree get measured?
What 1 degree? To where? You don't even have heights to start with, dude. These are fictional. There's no way you can get a full measurement off of it unless you have an actual height to go with it. But neither one of the so-called models give a height to any of these celestial.
Yeah, because it's non-geometric. You can't link a geometric formula to your triangle. The triangles that you're attempting to use within any of these calculations for the 69 miles and 1 degree, or any of the measurement angles to the light in the sky that Nathan Oakley uses, is a flat earth proof. It's a non-geometric angle, isn't it?
What do you mean?
You can't use the functions of the triangle, the mathematical functions, to
derive
the height.
What they do even in standard celestial navigation is they use the limb of the object. The lower limb of the object is, You've never looked into celestial navigation?
Yeah, I've heard it used. What does it mean? What's the limb of the object?
It's the lower half of the circumference of the light in the sky, dude. At its lowest point, that's the limb. That's the point where they measure from. It's a quick measurement they do at sea when they're trying to find their location, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the functions of that actual triangle, the angles, the distances that you're using, it can't be used through trigonometry to derive the opposite side, can they?
Why not?
Because then you'd have a height, Roger.
Well, no, you get an elevation height first. That's why they do, when you do celestial navigation, they do an elevation.
You just measure an angle.
Yeah, they measure a flat elevation above the topography or the ocean. Then they bring it down to the ground. I know how celestial navigation is done. Thanks, Bev. Okay, I'm back to the show.
Searching, presenting, defending the flat Earth model. Why? Well, because I thought it was true. So, sadder still, Austin and I both went on a trip in December to do what we both thought was helping the flat Earth, and in my mind, at least, by showing strong evidence for or against it.
Do you guys actually think he was actually doing it to help flat Earth or to promote his dichotomy and get rid of the azimuthal? That's what he was trying to do, right? You agree?
Sounds honest. Do you not think?
Yeah.
You can sound honest all you want, dude. That doesn't mean anything.
What I've noticed is that clearly he's reading off something, and what I've noticed in all these debates, especially with Globers, is that they kind of have like the same talk. Well, not just the same talking, like a script that they're reading from, and I think I think maybe I'm wrong, but it's coming from McToon. He's kind of like the curator of everybody's debate formats for the.
I think you can get it off his website, dude. He's got it all printed out
Probably
for you
that's what I'm
already.
saying. Yeah, it's probably something like that where he's got something set up, or oh, hey, here's how you debate flat Earth, and it seems that that's what Jaren's doing here in this debate. But anyway,
well, you notice he
might
showed
you
up
be
at the
in this
beginning.
position, Roger?
Do what?
Might you be in this position that Jaren's
No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do any of this shit. I'm just going down and doing a live stream during the solstice, and I'm coming back.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing extra special. I'm not making money off of it. I'm not throwing myself out there on the altar of whatever the hell it is. Oh,
well, Jaren just saw the anti-clockwise sun circle, and he came back and he said that.
I imagine he did, but he doesn't
all
understand
he said
how to
was
use
he
a
couldn't
compass.
fit
Dude.
it on his flat Earth model.
Well, he's got a model that is not comported with reality, doesn't he? He knew about this in 2016, by the way, before he even went down there.
Yeah, it's been known about for a long time, right? The anti-clockwise sun circle.
No. We're not the anti-clockwise line. That the time zones are not right in the southern whatever you want to call it, the southern part of the oceans. That they don't comport properly. They're an hour off in certain places.
Non-geometric. Yep.
We're thinking
it's been known about for a long time.
The actual radius, like Cook actually sailed around, and James
There's
Ross
no
Clark
radius.
was actually. Well,
non-geometric
circumference. Let's put it that way. They actually did what was their trek over 70,000 nautical miles in the southern oceans. That's
you're getting confused now. Is that like in reality, or is that the non-geometric globe model that you're talking about?
That's not the model, dude. That's what they sailed. I'm not going with a model. That they actually
so that's reality then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's much wider of a circumference. Isn't it? I think so. It's a lot larger than the globe is. That's what they found out when they went down there. They couldn't find a magnetic southern pole neither.
Yeah, the flat Earth distance to the equator is 6,200 miles, isn't it? 6,210 if you use the 69 miles to 1 degree, which is a lot more than the globe.
Yeah. So they're hiding a lot more lands, dude. You know that already.
Why do you think they have hiding it, right?
No.
Well, you know where it is. Sorry, yeah, I know.
No,
there's a lot more land on the flat Earth than there is on the globe.
Not land; it's more like oceans for the most part. But you know the date line, you actually lose a solid 24 hours there, just because of the time zones and the way they've constructed them. The further south you get, the worse it gets.
Yeah, because you've already got a bigger equator, haven't you? Where you reach zero in the angle measurement of the light in the sky.
Do you actually think the sun makes a full, just perfect circle in its circuit? Do you think
it's making clockwise circles at the minute?
Yeah, but it's not in the same position that for everybody neither. Yeah, and I did this the other day. I went out at like 4:00 noon and I took a picture of the sun. Guess where it was at 4:00?
In the sky?
Dead straight above me, dude. Right above me.
At your zenith?
Yes, at 4:00 in the afternoon. Yep.
I'm not too sure about that, Roger.
I'm positive,
sure?
Dude. Yep.
The sun was at your zenith at 4:00.
That's weird, ain't it?
Yes.
So I think the clocks are all fucked up with Greenwich time, dude, to be honest with you. So we base all the where the sun is by Greenwich, right? That's the starting point. The kingdom
had it would have cast a shadow.
I didn't see any shadows at all when I was out. After I got off work, actually, I took a picture of the sun at its zenith.
4:00, you didn't see a shadow.
Not on my car and my parking lot where I was at, no. But if you go further off from it, you would. Yeah. It's a local sun, Beth.
Oh, derived by
the real world observations that flat Earth.
No, it's just by the lights that it puts off, dude. There's so many things that are wrong with the globe model itself. So You know that already. You know the dogmatic globe that you like to talk about.
Can't you triangulate the crepuscular rays anyway, and then show that it's local?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You get those all the time. I get those like at least once a week. I'll get like a solid day where you get enough cloud cover to get a crepuscular ray. It actually you can triangulate each one of those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That don't work on a globe.
Can't explain. I didn't ignore it. I tested it. I went down, took action. I went to Antarctica, watched the 24-hour sun with my own eyes, circled for 4 days. It wasn't NASA. It wasn't Dave Weiss's plasma sun that he got from a Microsoft whistleblower. It's not hearsay. It's a real observation, 100% above board, despite what you hear from all the great flat Earth researchers. And what did I find? I found a model that predicts and explains and matches reality exactly. And it sure as hell isn't the flat model. I thought people would be adults and we would say we were wrong when the evidence was dropped in our lap.
Now, he's not telling you, though. His flat model is the azimuthal Gleason's map.
The AE map.
Yeah, it's not a model, by the way. It's a map.
Isn't that just the sun circling a north center point? That's the model that most people have, right?
Well, it's got a center point, but the pattern isn't a full circle. It's like an oblong egg kind of circle that it makes. It goes from solstice to equinox to solstice to equinox. You look at the side of the map. It's not really a map. It's a sun calculator, by the way. So they just calculate the solstice and equinoxes with that.
I've been trying to tell you, right? It wrecked Jaren's head. He went and saw the sun circling the opposite direction. He didn't know what to do with it. That information that he found, he saw when he was there, was a direct observation that he didn't know what to do with. He couldn't put it on his map. It's impossible to explain. And that's the problem
down
with
there. None of
had.
that shit was real. They have the burden of proof to claim it was real, and yet we've got too many problems to validate that it is real. And matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. There is no 24-hour sun down there.
He's the only one. He's the only one.
Roger's going to see it, right?
He's the only
There's
one.
no doubt in my mind. There's no 24-hour sun down there.
Yeah.
Why would you ever have to fake a 24-hour sun if it was real? And you can't say that we can't find fake videos.
That's what he's saying.
We don't live on a map.
Well, I don't care.
Well, we don't trust him. He's a liar.
Yeah.
Would you believe Roger if Roger went up there and came back?
I don't trust nobody.
I saw
really.
it.
If you show me the evidence, I'll trust the evidence. I don't trust no man.
Yeah, it's not about me, dude.
Trust no one. You question everything and trust no one. And the facts will speak for themselves. It's objective. I don't need a man to tell me your approval of some his story. That's all it is his story. And he's a known compulsive liar, and your credibility shot. And there is no 24-hour sun. You can find videos of it being faked down there. You would never have to fake something that existed.
Could you fool Roger?
I'm not filming. I'm going to do a live stream. That's what I'm planning on doing, dude.
No, I'm saying to the guy that just said that, do you think Roger could be fooled?
I don't think. I think that if he goes there, he's out of his damn mind. First of all, in my opinion, because it is gate kept, and that's not a game to these people. This is a serious thing to try to debunk. And it has massive implications behind it for them, and they're not going to allow it. That's why they have the Antarctic Treaty. That's why it is gate kept. And if you go there, you're going to be compromised to some degree, one way or another, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to have some way of fooling you into thinking that the sun is in the sky making a circle around you.
No, I think they'll just make you lie about it. You're not actually going to see it. You're going to go to a damn studio is what you're going to do if you're filming it, because just because they allegedly filmed it doesn't mean that's a fact. There is ways of faking it. And not only that, they're just going to hold their end of the bargain. If they can't be bought out with money, then they could be bought out with threats. If they were going to do something to your family, loved ones, there's a lot more ways than just monetarily to get somebody to comply. And if you go there, you're going to come back complying.
Do you think they'll get Roger by just?
I do. I think anybody who goes there with the intention
to go.
I think anybody goes there with the intention to destroy their, they have to keep this alive. They have to.
Yeah, see, you should have kept it under your hat, Roger. You shouldn't have gone to tell them that you were going to go and falsify it, because these guys are going to stop you now. I don't think you've got any chance of going.
What proof did Jaron have that he was even awake for 24 hours?
There isn't any.
Exactly.
Nobody was watching the sun on any of the in the camp in there, especially Jaron and Austin. Neither one of them were up for 24 hours, and I doubt McToon and Duffy were up for 24 hours too. They were too busy running around having to take care of what they had to take care of. You know what I'm saying? But
you can clearly tell that. Go ahead. Sorry.
The thing is, I'm just going to go down and do a 24-hour live stream, and if the sun goes beyond the horizon, I'll cut the damn cameras in and get the fuck out, dude.
I don't think you're going to be allowed to go, Roger. You're too smart. You're going to falsify all of this. You and your crew here have decided that there's no chance there's going to be a 24-hour sun. So you're in this position like Jaron is, or was.
No, I'm not.
Right? Yeah, he was. Jaron, beforehand, he wasn't thinking it was going to be there. He was thinking he wasn't going to get a chance to go. He wasn't going to get all of that.
Within the first 6 hours, he was telling everybody, I was wrong.
He didn't even stay up. The sun's in the sky.
The sun's in the sky within 6 hours.
Anti-clockwise. It doesn't take you very long for you to be able to see the sun up in the sky.
They showed us a fake sun. They showed us a fake sun. So how can you come to the conclusion that that's even a real sun in the first place? I can come to the conclusion that it was fake because Union Glacier Mountain was fake. You can clearly tell. If you go and do your due diligence and watch all the footage,
going the opposite way. Can you not see how vast that is? How
they weren't even in Antarctica, most likely. That means the sun ain't real.
Where does the sun go the opposite way round? Where is the place where the sun goes the opposite way in the sky?
It doesn't do it in the south, neither.
Flatsoid sees it.
The stars do, right?
Go watch the show today at Flatstead, and the observations we make yearly on his channel, every winter or summer for us or him. The sun goes the same direction, like it's
not going clockwise, though, is it?
It doesn't go counterclockwise, dude.
It goes from right to left. For
Flatsoid. You understand east and west, don't you? I'm not going to get in this conversation again, Bev.
No, I don't think you're prepared for it, because that's one of the problems.
That's not a problem.
It has. This is.
I know how to operate a compass, Bev. I know how to operate a compass.
I've got a conversation I had with Jaron 2 years ago where we were telling him about this very problem.
Because he doesn't understand compass points? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the sun circles.
Roger's not Jaron, and Jaron's not Roger. That's two different people, for starters. Yeah. I think Roger at least can do actual tests and observations, whereas Jaron just went down there to say he's been compromised before and he got compromised again. But Roger's at least credible and at least knows what he's talking about. Jaron, I have zero trust in.
Okay. Have you been to the north? It's really quick.
You actually think we've been to the north? Be honest. Do you think?
Look, I've got a friend. He's in our channel, right? Saragaki, a well-known magician, right? He lives in the most northerly city, town, whatever, right? The biggest, most northerly place. I don't know what it's called. It's some Norwegian place, right? It's got a weird name, probably. Right now, at the minute, he's observing sun circles.
Yeah.
Right now, when you guys say the sun goes from east to west, that's because it rises in the east, sets in the west.
No kidding.
Right now, what happens to east and west, if that's your idea, when the sun doesn't set, when it stays in the sky? Where's east and where's west?
In the same direction. They don't change.
So how can the sun go from east,
whether the sun's doing jack or not? Yeah,
because east and west is every position of that sun circle. So the statement, the sun goes from east to west, is a meaningless statement when the sun is in the sky making circles.
I've seen the footage from the north, some very northerly parts. It doesn't do just a full circle. It's kind of an oblong circle. And
You're just talking about clockwise or counterclockwise. You cannot use east or west when referring to sun circles? You do realize that, right?
Do you understand directions on a flat plane? Right.
I understand clockwise and anti-clockwise for rotation.
I think you're conflating the two.
East and west are part of the cardinal directions.
Yeah.
Not circles.
Yes, but they're actually following a path in the cardinal directions, aren't they?
The flat earthers have a problem because they want to make them circles. And this is the problem we told Jaren 2 years ago. And it wasn't enough for Jaren to go over it mentally. What he needed to do was see the sun circle for himself.
I'm not going to see a sun circle. You know that, right?
I don't think you're going to go. You're going to have to sit and watch and let Ron Boston Bear and Sean Griffin go.
Why?
And they're going to see it, and they're going to come back exactly the same as Whitsitt and Jaren. They both saw it.
I'm not going to have a tour guide holding my hand the whole time, dude. I'm going to have free reign. I'm going to be able to film the sky for what it is. So, all right, I'm going to get back to this video.
Austin Thompson, Alex Stein, and the others. And there's still some more people who want to remain unnamed, and still others that maybe nobody knows their names. So I'm happy at least that people can admit when they're wrong. But yes, for nearly a decade, I was one of the most vocal proponents of this theory about flat Earth, and it's sad to be here. I know there's a lot of people that I respect very much who are speaking at this event.
Now, watch his eyes there. Do you see that? He's looking over here at something. He seems like he's afraid of something. So I think they got him by the balls somehow or the other, personally. What do you think, Cubby?
I think he's reading off something, clearly. Yeah. I mean, maybe he took down notes for the debate, which I can see is possible, but he's definitely reading off something.
Uh-huh. Oh. And just to answer you one more thing, Beth, I'm going to go watch the sun set in Antarctica, not circle.
You're not going to get there, Roger.
Are you sure about that? My GoFundMe's still making money, and if I don't go this year, I'm going next year. Me and PJ have already got this set out. As long as it takes to get the money, I'm going to get it.
21 grand if you get your running shoes on.
I don't need 21 grand. I don't need to run. I'm pretty sure I can find a trip even cheaper than that. There's a whole bunch of those penguin tours that go down there and claim this, that, and the other. You get to cross Antarctica. But I had a good look at PEX, the other company that supposedly does the logistics for the trans-Antarctic journey, which they're just crossing the peninsula. They're not crossing the actual ice shelf itself. There's just a little finger of it. That's all they're doing. It's not the bottom of a ball neither.
Are you doing the whole ALE thing like they did, though?
No, I don't think I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm going to talk to Sav and see if I can find a better trip. Yeah.
Cheap. And I'm going to. Do you reckon they do bargain trips?
Dude, I've looked at a lot of trips that go down to the same parallels that are cheaper than that. There's a whole website with the PEX people. They take people down, but they just do mostly penguin tours, and they let them go inland for a little bit. And actually, they have the Scott Station? I can't remember the full name of it. It's supposedly at the South Pole.
Boat trip. Yeah. They do a few boat trips, right? So
there's plane trips too. Why not?
You're not going to. If you go on a boat trip, you're not going to make it onto the land, are you? And since
they have some that
supposedly one of the highest elevation.
They have some boat trips that let you go inland too. They dock and they go into the cities and they'll go down. You can take a trip further into. I think they have one that they actually let you go by yourself supposedly, but I want to investigate this company and find out if it's legitimate or not. Why is it not ALE promoting the Midnight Sun tours to Antarctica?
Well, do you think it'd be a selling point if it,
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Who would be interested in it, do you think? I think it's only the flat earthers that are interested in it because they want to deny it.
I don't give a shit about
everybody else already knows 'tis globe, don't they?
To me,
everybody knows. They know it. No, they were told it was, Bev. They were told it was.
That's where knowledge is linked, isn't it?
Here,
Some people
what is
gain knowledge that way.
What does the freaking sun have to do with it down here, the Earth down here on Earth? What does that have to do with anything? Crickets.
Because he's linked east and west to the sun. Like Jaren did that. Like Jaren's, I told you, Jaren's already done this.
What does the sun?
He's linked it to a model, much like all of the flat earthers.
I don't give a shit what Jaren
whenever
does.
you're measuring an angle to the light in the sky,
they didn't do anything but tell a story. Is all they did.
I don't care what they did. I'm saying, what does the sun have to do with proving anything down here on this Earth?
The sun, in your model, and
don't say my model. Don't say my model.
Everybody's model, right? The sun goes from east to west. It's a known.
And what does that have to do with proving the Earth to be a sphere or a flat Earth?
When you see the sun circles, that statement has zero meaning. But you've never seen it, and you've never contemplated the idea.
That's because I'm not looking up. I'm not looking up to figure out what's going on down here. Don't you get what I'm trying to say?
Because the actual directions of east and west are cardinal. They don't have anything to do with the sun, actually.
Do you believe we went to space too? Just curious. Do you think we went to the moon?
No, he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Okay, thank God.
Do you believe in the moon landings, Lev? Bev, sorry. I call him Lev.
Do I believe?
But do you believe they actually landed on the moon?
What do I think about them? I don't think about them.
Do you think they're real or they're not?
There's something that people observed on the TV.
Okay. That's kind of vague, but so you don't believe them? You do believe them? What?
Well, they were on the TV.
Does that make them real?
Okay, over and over again.
Makes them being on the TV, right?
All right, got you. You don't want to answer.
Cool. Are you one of those people that are fooled by images?
What? No, what?
Do you understand the insignificance of images?
How do you think we got into the topic to start with, dude? You find out that NASA fakes half their shit for the most part, right? Most of their pictures are CGI composites or rendered and impossible, like the ones we just watched from the Discovery at 1,000,000 miles. They rendered a photograph of the Earth from 1,000,000 miles away from the Discovery telescope.
But these sun circles are observed by people.
Are they?
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, my friend Taragaki, he's watching the sun circle right now.
All you want to do is talk about the sun. That's all there is to it. We might as well.
That's all this is about, isn't it?
No, it's not.
So the only thing
to say a minute ago.
And Ari, obviously, the attitude of the flat earthers to Jaren observing this very thing.
They didn't observe anything. They just lied about it. You know, you know what fallacies are, and your argument.
See, that's why you're calling him a liar. He observed it.
He didn't observe shit. They faked it. There's plenty of evidence to support that it was a complete hoax. So I'm not going to conclude that their fallacious lies are the facts.
There you go, Roger. That's what's going to have you.
What a concept.
When you go there and see it, if you get a chance to go and see it.
It's called gatekept.
This man's going to say you were fooled.
Is Oh, yeah. Hey, Mr. Banner, how are you doing tonight?
I don't think he's going to trust you.
Fantastic.
Would you trust? Would you trust Roger if Roger were to see the anti-clockwise sun circle?
I don't know what you're talking about, Beth.
Because you're not going to go.
Yeah, sure, Beth.
The ground measures flat, regardless.
That's what we're trying to say.
That's a nonsense statement again.
It's facts. It's demonstrable.
Any measurement ever made would be a measurement of how not flat it is.
So you're going with convexity, like upwards, and topography as a terrain.
Of the mountains.
No, of course. I'm going with the nonsense statement of saying you can measure flat.
There is zero scientific evidence to support any global model. There's zero evidence to support curvature. It doesn't exist. It's 2025 and we're over here questioning whether curvature exists or not. We're living in a topographical plane. Everyone has the same up and the same down. Nobody's upside down.
They reference horizontal, right, JJ?
Yeah. The water.
Topographic plane is a nonsense.
It's
an
talking techno
oxymoron.
babble and repeating nonsense as much as we want, and keep agreeing with this moron on the screen, Jaren. But at the end of the day, Bev, in reality, water doesn't stick to spinning balls. That's the fact.
That's non sequitur.
No, Bev. In your reality right now, if you get a ball and some water, the water will not stick to that ball. In reality, that's reality. Now you can come up with theories and nonsense and mathematics as much as you want to make that water stick to the ball, but in reality, it doesn't. That's
a direct violation of laws of physics.
So they flew over level water, they flew over level ice attached to that water, and then they landed somewhere with ice. So
there you go.
But they're on a flat plane. The sun circle. That whole observation was done on a flat plane, Bev. I just don't see how you don't get
that plane is the pleonasm.
If we even get to the rest of this debate, Jaren even makes the point about that everything is measured flat. He even debunks everything that he's saying within this debate. You're the only one going along with Jaren. You keep telling us that we're the ones.
I'm saying it's not measured flat. It's ridiculous. It's a nonsense statement.
It's a level plane with topography upon it, and the waters sit in the plane, cut into the plane, Bev. That's where the waters sit. It's very simple. Yeah. People like you just want to complicate things. You just want to complicate the matter, and it's very, very simple. I just don't.
You can't complicate the geometry with the sun, can you? Because they're two different issues.
Again, you want us to look up. You want us to look up at the sun. We're talking about the shape of the Earth.
No, Jaren.
We're talking about topography, a level plane.
The conversation going on here, Beth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now you've gone to geometry.
Yeah, that's how you measure shit, dude.
But geometry is a mathematical thought. It exists in the intelligible realm, in your mind, the geometric perfection.
It exists in reality.
Just like the globe Earth. That's where the globe Earth resides, just in your mind when it was implanted there as a child at school.
Okay.
It's a fact. It happened to you, Bev. It happened to me. It happened to everybody on this panel.
Yes.
It happened to everybody on this panel. We was brainwashed into believing it. We didn't have no facts. We never see it personally. The teachers never see it personally. They were told it.
Shaped by your shadows, yes.
No, Bev. That's facts. It's happened to everybody.
Shadows. Oh, Matthew's coming in. Nice. Hey, Matthew.
Yeah, it's more of a philosophical outlook, right? But the problem is the sun circles.
Okay.
So, like Will Duffy knew this. Will Duffy knew exactly the person.
Plane, it doesn't matter which way it's circling. It's not on a spinning globe, is it? It's not. They wasn't standing upside down, spinning on a ball, observing a 93 million mile away sun while the Earth was rotating, were they, Bev? That sun was local, going around the head, being followed by the camera, Bev, which completely smashes the Helio model because it proves that the sun was local. If that footage is true, if the footage is true, they recorded. Yes. If the footage is true, they recorded. It demolishes the Helio model. They recorded a local sun, so it doesn't matter what direction it was going. It's irrelevant. The fact is that they were on a plane and they recorded a local sun going around their head. That's the fact.
Yep.
Now you can twist that to as much as you want.
I'm not.
They want you to believe. They want you to believe you're observing a 93 million mile away sun, but the Earth is rotating, and it's the opposite. The footage is showing you the opposite.
You're becoming one of them, David.
Come on, man. Come on.
How do you get heat from a 93 million mile away sun and create actual seasons in our world?
Again, another non sequitur.
What non sequitur?
Rays. How do you get crepuscular rays from a 90 million distant sun?
And 93 million or whatever million they want to put on it now. And I've actually talked to physicists in chats before, and they don't really have a solid answer for convexity from the sun or heat transfer through a vacuum from 93 million miles away, Beth.
Yeah, it's not radiation like that. You imagine heat being transferred from your radiator. It doesn't work like that, does it?
No, it doesn't work in a convex way neither, or not a convex way. What's the term I'm looking for? Like an oven would do. It doesn't heat up like an oven. It doesn't trap the heat in. But we obviously are contained. Can you agree to that at least, Beth? You have to contain water, gases,
I don't know. That's what QE calls the edge, right? Where the container is. Do you also subscribe to that?
You're talking about
somebody's
convection.
trying to join, but we're full up, guy. I don't know who's in the back. Hold on, let's see.
Were you saying convection?
Yeah, convection heat. Yeah, you don't get either kind. Is it radiated heat? Is it X-ray heat? What kind of heat is it? What kind of heat are we getting from the 93 million miles away? How does it transfer
it's a
heat?
non-sequitur.
What's non sequitur about that? It's impossible to get that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Talking about. The problem Jaren had fitting the anti-clockwise sun circle on his model.
Anti-clock. I'm not putting a model in there that you can think of. I have a different idea in my own head.
His model of a reality, right? He'd always been used to seeing clockwise sun travel.
You know, the final experiment was fake, right, Bev? The sun was fake, the mountain was fake, the
social experiment to show somebody something which will falsify their model of reality. And you're seeing the effects of it. Like you guys talking about it now, you're being part of this social experiment.
Are we? It's more like you're like instigating the social experiment yourself, dude. Right here and right now. You're a part of it.
Yeah, I'm pointing out that there's 2 counter-rotating sun circles that
look who's here. Elder Bear's here.
Impossible to explain.
Have you seen that other than the final experiment? Has anybody seen the sun?
Well, I'm glad you have a position on it. Yeah.
Say that again, JJ.
Other than the final experiment, have we observed the sun go in the opposite direction? Because their whole trip is moot. They got caught. Nothing there was real. And that's my story. I'll stick to it. They have the burden to prove it, and they failed. So I'm not going to ascertain that they saw the sun go in the opposite direction. Now, if we can go to something else where they can actually show some evidence to support it without being caught lying, then we'll ascertain it. Until then, it's moot. It's no good.
This isn't. It's not even an experiment in itself, but it's a social experiment in your mind.
It is a social experiment. How can you not see that? Will Duffy knew exactly the right person to target with the false dichotomy. One of the best plays ever done. Because you guys can't even see that.
He found a science illiterate idiot who's bought everything he was told without checking it out, and he got him to go to Antarctica and probably paid him to do what he did. So yeah,
Karen had been sold the AE model, of his flat Earth. Like he doesn't know of any other model. You guys don't, because you've got an edge of a container somewhere, and you measure your flat Earth angle proofs to a light in the sky that you place at the center.
Everything has to be contained.
Can't have water on a ball. It needs to be contained.
Yeah, that's a
violation of laws of
this
physics.
particular thing.
And gas itself needs to be contained too. You can't have gas pressure develop with a dynamic system without a container, Bev. You know this already. You've heard all this stuff. You've been on Nathan's channel. You've heard all the arguments over and over again, but you still go on and on and on and on and on. Do you want to be heard all the time? I don't do this stuff. I just refute the claims that the globe makes itself. It's real easy to do.
The globe doesn't make any claims.
Yes, it does. It claims we're next to a vacuum of space without containment on a spinning ball held by gravity.
Everything about the globe is a claim.
Are claims, dude.
Making claims by proxy for them.
They say the cause and effect. They know these causes. Gravity built the universe. The whole damn shebang. Yes, they have a shitload of complaint.
Hey, Raj.
I've heard you say
Roger. Roger, play that clip I just put in the regular chat real quick. This is for you, Beth. This is your Will Duffy.
It's what I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It is.
Yeah.
Nice. It's Will Duffy saying the sun has nothing to do with what? Or something to do with it all? I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, it hasn't.
Hang on, just watch, buddy.
He falsified Jaren's model.
Yeah, we'll see about that when he plays the clip.
Sun.
Here we go. I'm going to play the clip. Somebody's got an echo going on. Oh, crap. Sorry.
There
it is.
Have you measured the diameter of the sun changing since the days of Adam?
I haven't measured it, and I want to
Okay, so
point
it's a
out.
false
I want
claim.
to.
So you're just appealing to.
Hey, Sean, let me answer. I want to point out to the audience you are evading the topic of the debate, which is the shape of the Earth, by talking about the sun.
Your whole TFE is about the sun. You
Exactly. Wow. So he admits that has nothing to do with the Earth. He just
There you go,
admitted it
Bev.
right there.
Oh man, awesome!
This is epic. This is epic.
Great job,
Sean.
Let him speak. He just banned himself, you know.
Sean, you totally demolished us, dude. Brilliant.
How?
Okay.
Your seditious thoughts are what did that. Will Duffy
okay,
just
buddy.
took Darren to see the sun circle.
What did your precious Will Duffy just say?
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It hasn't.
Well, so what do you derive from that?
That he falsified Jaren's model, and Jaren derived, because he had the false dichotomy in play.
You're totally deflecting.
Not flat means tis globe. That's how it works. That's how it worked in Jaren's mind.
Whatever.
And he
Fake
didn't have any
evidence
support or anything.
No, it doesn't.
I didn't think so.
And my observations that I'm going to actually live stream if I get a chance to do it will tear a hole in it, dude. So, yeah, they can't afford to lose their documentary and their grift. That's the whole point, right, Bev? The money they're going to make off of this documentary and all the penguin tours they're going to try to sell and all the ALE marathons down in the Union Glacier with a supposed South Pole, you know.
You could go to the north, right? You believe the sun circle's in the north, don't you?
I believe it's there because I've seen it, but I haven't seen a full circle in the north. And I've actually did a documentary on it.
Do you believe that there are sun circles like Saragaki at the minute? He's observing.
Did he give you any of them?
What did he give me any of them?
Do you have any full videos like 24-hour sun circle in the north? Do you got one?
Like he's got a few months of no nighttime.
We're talking about sun above the horizon. 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about now. Yeah,
so
they're in their summer over there.
You have it laying around somewhere. You got some? Can you provide some?
Do I have some of what he sees?
Yeah, can you give us a video? Can you get it for us?
No.
Make it
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Roger. Right? Do you believe that sun is in the sky for him right now?
I don't know. I'm not there to see it. Now, I've actually watched the documentary that they put out in the north during the summer. And the sun does go out of view almost. They call it a solar night is what they call it.
Are you testing your equipment now then? Because you've got 6 months now, right? To make sure that you've got the equipment that you can take with you that will definitely keep a anti-clockwise circular motion, right? That's what you're after because you're trying to track the sun, right? So are you testing equipment to make sure you've got battery power, camera equipment, all of the things that are able to make this anti-clockwise rotation? Or are you testing the clockwise rotation of the position that you are in?
If the sun goes below the horizon, that's all I need.
Yeah, but like you're meant to be doing a 24-hour stream.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing it 24 hours.
Circle.
Yeah.
Are you testing the equipment? What have you got? What equipment have you got so far?
So far, I don't have too much. I have enough. I'm starting on it myself. I'm building.
You should be testing it now, Roger, to make sure.
Testing it on what? I'm not in the environment I'm going to be in, dude.
Well, you are in like reality where you're going to be doing it, right? Have you got a tripod? Have you got some sort of mechanism to make it turn? Or are you going to sit there behind it on a chair?
Yeah, I'm going to follow the sun for 24 hours, dude. I have a tripod. I have a telescope. I have a few other devices now. I'm going to buy a couple more. Yeah.
Don't look. Don't look. Do not look at the sun through a telescope, Roger.
Why not?
Do not do that. Don't be advised. Anybody listening, do not.
People do it all the time, Bev.
A telescope to look at the sun.
Use a solar filter. That's pretty easy.
Have you got a telescope with a solar filter, Roger? Are you testing that?
I have a telescope. Yes, I do. It's amazing. Yes, I have one.
You checked for whether you'd be able to get a telescope?
I have a telescope. I just said
to
that.
Antarctica. Have you checked whether because I would have thought that like Jeren or Whitsitt or McToon or one of those would have took a telescope if they had have been allowed to.
No, I don't think there's a rule against it, dude. I'll check.
You don't think?
I don't think.
How much have you prepared for this trip at all, Roger?
How much have I prepared for it? Well, I'm still working on it, but yeah, I'm somewhat prepared. I do have some equipment. I'm working on carry-on stuff now that I can put on the flight with me. I even got some sturdier luggage.
You got some good boots, a nice warm coat.
Dude, I live in Colorado.
Apparently you don't need it down there.
Yeah, I hear you can go shirtless.
I thought Skeptic had guaranteed the monies for you, so you should be definitely going, shouldn't you?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, but this year.
So why would you be so concerned about it, dude? That's really my question, both of you.
I'm not concerned. I mean, I'm concerned for you if you're not ready and that people, treat you like Jeren or Whitsitt when you come.
Oh, that's too bad. You're being sarcastic anyway.
Oh, did you just kick him?
Your virtue signaling.
Oh.
No, you didn't kick him. Everybody's been having trouble on here trying to get on.
Yeah, Restream's a bad platform. You should get a Discord going, Roger.
Bev, I keep getting hacked on Discord. People steal my pictures and everything I put on there. They get into my main stuff, my private stuff. So no, that's not going to happen. Too many trolls, dude. Real trolls that want to sabotage me and blackmail me and stuff, dude. No, not going to do Discord. Sorry. But I mean, most people that offer that want to get into my private stuff anyway. So
that sounds like it's a security issue on your side, Roger. Do you not know how to
not really, dude. I mean, all I did is log in and stuff that I post on there. Just in my private room, people get into it through Discord. It has nothing to do with my privacy on this end at all. It's just easy to access my stuff on Discord. They can go into my private chats where I've talked to people and pull photographs and stuff. And they got my phone number out of the process and everything with private chats. That's a Discord problem, dude. That's not my
security
problem.
Issues aren't like that on Discord. That's entirely a you problem, that, Roger. You've left your stuff open. I don't know why.
No,
they didn't get it from Discord. I can promise you that.
I invited two different people into this particular room where I talked to these people. And yet still, somehow they got into those rooms and got that information out of it. It wasn't off anything else. It was off Discord. It's a separate program from the rest of them. They had to get into the program of Discord, and their security sucks, dude. Hate to tell you that. That's just the way that goes. All right. So I think we got the gist of what Jaren's doing, don't we? So let's go back to it. Yeah, you ready?
Do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Try to anyway.
Yeah. If I don't keep interrupted, yeah, we'll get to it eventually.
I think Jeren would do all right. He's like, he's just trying to be honest.
Yeah, you bet.
Is he? Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's seen the sun circles.
He did?
He's a liar.
He's trying to be honest.
All he is.
Yeah. Well, the real test would be me going down there and seeing it for myself, or actually even live streaming it for the rest of our community to actually get a feel for what actually goes on there without any fanfare or whatever else you want to call it. Any propaganda is a better word I would use for it. And there was so much that went on. I'll give you this much. You remember Jonathan, the director that did the show itself?
Yeah, Mirandy. Yeah,
he actually admitted in an ether stream, one of the Easter cosmology streams, that they went down past where the sun set the day before. This is during the stay down there while they were doing the observation. So he actually physically admitted it live in comments. I have it on in my posted in my stream. So there's more than one person that say the sun set during the time on this trip, including Jared himself.
Obstructed it a bit.
No, he wasn't
the fake
talking about the
mountain
mountain.
obstructed it.
No,
Is that what
because they
is
had
that
to
what he
move
was
back.
saying?
Yeah, they had to move back
to a
so the
different
mountain didn't just
location.
obstruct it.
Yeah. And then that could be
Can't stay
deemed
in.
as the sun setting because it goes behind a mountain.
Well,
So they
no,
moved.
No,
Yeah, the sun did set behind the mountain. You're right.
yeah, there you go. It went past the horizon. No, he was talking about an airport where they were
at the top
actually
of the mountain. Where's the horizon in that thing?
You want me to go dig this thing up and listen to it yourself? He wasn't talking about the mountain obstruction.
Is that where you would place the horizon at the top of the mountain?
Apparently, it's right in front of the mountain because you can see the ground meet the backdrop. There's plenty of evidence to support that mountain isn't even real. There's plenty of evidence to show that the sun was faked, and you're going to ascertain that these guys aren't liars.
I think that's a bit extravagant, right? The mountain. I'm pretty sure the mountain is real.
I'm pretty sure they
I mean, would be also proof that it's not flat, right? Because it's not a flat mountain.
No mountains are flat, dude. None.
Yep. None are spherical either.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Are you going to be like, what's that guy that used to come on Nathan's channel all the time? Highlander. Remember Highlander, Bev? Remember? He used to come on FED and argue with Nathan about how it curves under the mountain.
I remember Highlander. I've got a few conversations with him.
Yeah. That's been a while.
Kozlowski. Where are all of these people? Where are they going?
They're running and hiding, dude. They don't get involved in it anymore because of toxic people, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to play some more.
The circles will bring them back, though, right?
Son, what?
Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry. It's impossible to explain. So why would they bother bringing anybody back?
I don't know.
Who have been friends of mine for a long time. Haven't talked to them in 6 months because they abandoned me just like everybody else. Because I went down to Antarctica and came back and told you the truth. Can you imagine? You're all truthers, and you turned your back on me for going on a trip and telling you the truth.
Now he's not telling you the whole story, though, Bev, is he?
The truthers
you
of
did
the flat
turn
Earth.
your back on him.
No, he turned his back on us when he got back. He turned his back on everybody. You don't remember his Christmas special he did?
He just saw the sun circle.
No. You didn't watch his Christmas
special.
special.
You guys react to it. Right?
No, he
reacted.
He
it now
to everybody before anybody said anything. He took the first shots at everybody. Jaron ragged everybody out, even his closest friends that were THC and all the rest of the people over Glowbusters. He went after them too. As soon as he got back.
People like you and Flatsoid and Nathan Oakley went mental at him.
No, we didn't. We were just watching the whole thing and calling out what we saw.
Come
dude.
on.
What did we do to Jaron, dude? What did we do? Tell me.
You called him a liar.
Can you name?
Did you literally hear Nathan Oakley having a rant and a rage?
Can you name one other person besides these guys that supposedly went down there? Name one other person that's done this before.
What, the people that have seen the sun in the sky when they
whatever
were down
you want
there,
to call it? Have you?
And
everybody
Anthony Powell.
Oh, Anthony Powell. Yes, his documentaries are solid, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, there's another observation. I mean, whether you choose not to, believe them is another thing.
Dude, I looked at all
same
his
as
videos
this one. You choose not to believe it, but it's an observation. Dude. But you don't even want to.
There he goes. No, I've looked at Anthony Powell's videos. I've looked at his documentaries, and most of them are actually halfway doctored. To tell you the truth, there's the only way to really go down and do it yourself. You have to see it for yourself. That's the way it's like the mystery of the Antarctic. That's what they're selling. That's why people go down there.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
I had dropped a link in your chat. It's off of my my channel, and it's got some good points here. It shows this mountain here. The one that Witsit didn't know was the same mountain, which is Union Glacier Mountain, the one they had to move away from in the first place. But yet he argued with Dustin, or was it Dustin Nemos? Yeah, about it objectively not being the same mountain, and they had to go a long ways and go hang a left and hang a right. But you look at that timestamp that I put in there, and it's clearly the same exact mountain. It's a fake mountain. Like I said, you could take a ruler across the bottom of it, and there's no deviation. It's where the ground meets the backdrop. And,
so you think they like pasted it into the footage? You might say?
Yeah, and look how close the mountain looks. Also, look at timestamp 254, and look how close the mountain is. All of a sudden, you can't see the camp anymore. But they claim it's because they're so far back that the camp's gone. But you could see no deviation in the other pictures to where that you would be able to see the camp if it was that flat all the way up to the mountain, and yet the camp's gone. And then you can see a perfect line right in front of the mountain. The mountain looks closer when they're farther away than when they're, unless they're zoomed in. But if you just look at those pictures, they pretty much tell you everything that you need to know. That it's fake.
Yes, Saab pointed out that like a picture from 2018 was actually the same snow, ice, and everything. It's like they just take a picture, they spliced it into it and used it for the photograph.
Yeah, there's
so
much
many
evidence.
stuff like that, Bev. It's just like, how could you say that they didn't go down and try to fake this just for this argument's sake? You know,
do you reckon you'll also have to go to the north to see the clockwise sun circles?
Why would I do that if I don't see a counterclockwise circle in the south, dude? Why would I care?
Okay. Just to verify that you don't see a clockwise circle in the north, right? Because if you don't see one in the south, I mean, what's the chances that you won't see one in the north?
Well,
I did a video on it if you've never verified it. Like, how far does this inquisition go for you? Like, how far are you going to go and inquire about all of these things?
How far would I go to prove a lie? Yeah, I don't know. Good question.
The falsification, then, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to falsify
their observation.
Sun circles.
I'm not trying to falsify the circles if they don't exist.
I donate money to you for.
All right. So what we're looking at here, Justin?
Are we listening
Go to timestamp 226.
226.
We're listening to a private conversation, or what's this going on here?
No, he's doing a video here.
This is my mockumentary where I was pretending like I was there. It's quite hilarious. It's about 2 hours of me being in character, just mocking them. But it's
that's you, is it?
That's me.
You said 226, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll take it back to 226.
So are we using a mockumentary as evidence now?
No, it's after the mockumentary, Bev. Just be patient.
The mockumentary is what went on with the TFB.
I thought it was that guy out of ZZ Top, to be honest.
That's JJ, dude.
Sure, that's the first time you heard that one.
Yeah. I don't think he's heard it before. I'll start at 222. That'll work.
You're at the beginning.
He's starting
now.
the stream now. Yeah. Well, you said 226, right? Let's go past it.
Yeah, 2 hours and 26 minutes.
Oh, 2 hours. Okay.
My bad. My bad.
That's all right.
There you go.
We're almost there. That's close enough.
Yeah, look behind Witsit, and that the line in front of the mountain it goes all the way across the entire screen, perfectly, no deviation. I'm talking perfectly level.
They took a picture of the mountain, and so they moved the whole camp out.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank everybody.
They moved the whole camp out, and then took a picture of the. It's just Dustin. I'm telling you, we went. Okay, so whatever. You want to say your closing, bro?
There's also issues with the timestamps of the footage, which started at a different time than was claimed. There's repeating CGI assets. The clouds repeat.
You could probably pause.
Pause. That's been debunked. We looked at it today. There are different clouds.
Now, my whole point here is just looking at the mountain, okay? And look at how the picture in the middle is a picture from the camp. That's why you can see the camp. Now, the picture on the left with Witsit, this is where they allegedly went way back so the sun didn't go behind the mountain. But if you look at the mountain, it doesn't look like they're very far away from it. And apparently Witsit got lost and thinks that's not the same mountain, first of all. Second of all, there's lots of problems with the proportions. If you're going to back up, the mountain should get smaller, possibly, and it shouldn't look like the ground meets a backdrop behind Witsit either, and there's all kinds of... the mountain doesn't even look exactly. There's like rendering problems where it looks smeary, but it could just be their cameras or whatever. But this is the mountain that he's saying that it's not the same mountain. And it's not just a mountain, it's Union Glacier. This is the whole mountain they had to back away from so the sun didn't go behind it. Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about.
There's nothing in between Witsit and that mountain. So how did he get lost? How did he claim he went through the valley, hung a left, had to go farther? It's all, you know, he got caught lying.
Yeah, well, that's the normal, especially with liars.
Look at 2 hours 54 seconds.
Okay.
Now watch how big this mountain looks. Like it's just closer. It's the same exact mountain allegedly. Now look how close it is, and there's no camp there. Now look at is it the horizon? Is the horizon in front of the mountain? Because that's just too damn straight. Did they camp go over the curve before the mountain, after the mountain, or after the where'd the camp go?
It's down in a valley in there you can't see.
Right, but that just must be the curve or the horizon over the horizon, because that thing is too darn straight, right? I mean, it's flat as a board, level. Yeah. The entire, where the ground meets the mountain, and you can just see how close up this mountain looks compared to when they're actually closer. It looks farther away.
Yeah.
Now, is that just because they're zoomed in? You tell me.
I don't know. It looks like he did extensive research into the actual video that Austin put out.
I've done all kinds of due diligence. I don't come from left field. I'm just a truth seeker, and I like these guys, man. I loved Witsit, bro. I've donated thousands of dollars to both these fucking assholes. So, I'm the victim just as much as anybody. But it wasn't easy for me to turn on these guys, and it's the last thing I wanted to do. But I don't care who you are. I don't trust man. I trust the facts.
Yeah.
And the fact is they didn't go to Antarctica. They lied. They didn't see the damn sun. It ain't going counterclockwise. The mountain isn't real. Everything they said, if their mouths are moving, they were lying. So it's all fallacies. And have you ever seen Witsit? Like he used to be the least fallacious person. He taught me a lot about fallacies, and he comes back and all of a sudden he's fallacious as shit. Everything, like he's constantly saying fallacies.
Well, you need to pick a side, dude. That's all.
Yeah. Well, he's just playing his role. That's all. They want to bunk that AE map is what they want to do, because it causes division. They're going to make a bunch of money. It's multifaceted.
Have you donated to Roger's GoFundMe?
I haven't, but I would definitely ascertain it. I've done a lot of contributing. Everybody knows me as a contributor,
Well, how about contribute to Elderbear to get a better phone? Yeah, I'm having internet problems right now anyway, so I'm probably using a lot more data than you should.
I know one thing at the beginning of this debate with when Austin finally gets to talk, that he says that I'm just doing what I gotta do in a debate format. Of course you're just doing what you have to do.
Well, it's been 2 hours.
How could this guy say that he lost that mountain? He didn't know that it was the same mountain. I can't get over it.
Well, they have problems with directions and using compasses too. Their orientation's a little out of whack.
Witsit's allegedly one of the smartest guys ever, but yet he can't even literally. If it was just some random mountain, I could get it. But this is Union Glacier, okay, first of all. Second of all, they had to back away from it because the sun was going to go behind it, and they didn't want us bitching that it was going to go behind it for 2 hours. So they come back to this location, which obviously isn't that far, and the whole camp disappears, and he claims that it's not even the same mountain anymore. Like, weird, how can you say those are two different mountains? You just think it's ridiculous.
I got to go with Big Pine Sailing saying it could be drugs. They were partying the whole time they were going down there, dude. You ever watch any of their out footage? They're drinking, smoking. They're having a ball. This is a trip. It's like, yay, we're going to Antarctica. Yay.
Pretty much.
I haven't seen any of that.
Time. Yeah.
I mean, they weren't paying for it, right?
No, it was all freebies.
Yeah, I noticed too on each one of them wanted to tell us how the mountain looked like it was touchable, but it's miles away and there's big crevasses that will swallow cars. Every one of them mentioned that independently, which was pretty fishy. But they just don't want you going over. They want to have a reason why they're not allowed to go close up to it.
What about the sun then? What about the sun?
The sun too. I've seen footage where they got
sun,
identical rays. 25,
Yeah, but
26 hours
on their
later.
footage, to leave all the other stuff. What about the sun? How do you explain
The
that
sun has nothing to do
anti-clockwise
with the
direction
freaking
of the
Earth.
sun? Did they make a mistake?
It's fake. Everything's fake. You can't have part of it fake and a part of it
Why
not
would
fake.
they fake something so obviously fake if it's going
Because they need to keep their
anti-clockwise?
ball alive. That's why. Because they don't want
That
us to know the true nature of our realm because they're hiding free energy from us and we're a bunch of damn slaves. That's why.
So was it going clockwise or anti-clockwise?
I don't believe a goddamn thing that they say. Okay, they're liars. They got caught lying. They have the burden of proof, and they got caught lying trying to fool us again.
Well, you've got no proof of your assertion that they're lying. You're just
how about this
making
video
some
right here?
assumption.
How about all the footage that they
Yeah,
documented?
but why
to
should I
show us?
believe your video? You don't believe their video.
Whitsitt got caught
You've made a
lying about
video about
vaping.
their video, and you don't
I'm
believe their
showing.
video.
I'm showing their video. This ain't my video. This is me.
Yeah. So why should I
mocking
worry
their
about
videos.
looking at your video of your mockumentary of it? Why should
First
I
of all,
believe
all
that?
videos are not conclusive. Any video can be faked. So I
It's
take
just
that
your
stance.
opinion, though, isn't it?
No, it's
You
called. They have the
claim
burden
it's
of
a
proof.
fake. Well, you have the
No.
burden of proof because you said it was fake.
No, they claim that there's a 24-hour sun down there. They claim we live on a ball. They claim that mass attracts
Well, how are
mass.
you
They
going to
claim
prove that
bending,
then?
the warping of space.
How are you going to prove that yourself?
I don't have to. Okay, that's shifting the burden, is what that's called.
Well, they've given the evidence they've given you is what they've given you for their
So
proof.
how come? Why is it that every single time you go to try to find 24-hour footage of a sun in the south, they found anomalies where clouds repeat? Okay, why would you ever have to fake something if it was real?
Yeah, but that's
Elder
your
Bear?
doubt, isn't it? You know, what
It's
about
my
the sun
doubt. That's
itself?
just me, right?
Yeah, you
Why
just got to
do all
accept
those
it,
videos?
JJ. Yeah, just got to accept it.
Well,
Just go with the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, cool
Well,
story, bro.
what is your base axiom of the sun then?
Axiom
you know,
of the sun.
Yeah. For you personally, what do you know about the sun? Any of you? What do you know?
How far
Any
away
of
is
you?
the sun
We don't
from
know
us?
shit about the sky. We don't try to claim that we
What
know
do you-
shit that we don't know.
How
Can
far
we
away
test
is
it?
How far
Well, you
away
don't
is
look
the
up at
sun?
the ceiling to prove the ground. You don't go
Well,
in
you
there
do
and look
though.
at the
You
lights
do.
to measure your
The
carpet.
flat earthers, the flat earthers look at the sky all the time to measure the earth.
Do they?
Bullshit.
They really
Yes.
do? No.
You don't
Yes,
look
you've
up
done
to
it,
prove
Roger.
what's
You
down.
spoke about it until you realized you mustn't say anything else about it.
No, I didn't say
You
that at
measured
all.
angles to Polaris. You
Did I?
derived latitude. Yes.
No.
You
Somebody else
derived
did that a
latitude.
long time ago.
Yeah, and you've done that
Yeah.
until recently, and now you're
No,
all fucked up
I
because you
don't back
can't
off of
repeat
it,
it.
dude. Yeah, I can say you can drive latitudes from Polaris, yeah, and it goes as
So
far
you're
as
looking at the
equator.
sky. You're looking at the sky then.
I'm not determining the shape of the ground by that. That's how they
Well,
found their way across it, dude. That's all.
Well, that's the latitude.
Yeah, that's it. And there's
Now,
rum
you said
lines
it's a
out
flat.
there.
Well, you said it's flat.
Yeah, it's flat. It's
So how do you get the
topographically
flat
and
from
flat.
looking at Polaris? How do you get the flat from looking at the sky?
No, you find your declination by looking at the sky, dude.
Well,
That's how
you just said you
circumnavigate.
can't. Yeah, but how did you tell anything about the surface by looking at the sky?
No, you can actually just take it to a horizontal for what it's worth by definition.
You haven't got a horizontal.
Yeah, you do.
Where?
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
You've got an angle. You've got an angle between
no.
you, a celestial object, and a point on the horizon.
You're trying to prove a negative. I mean, this is what's going on.
Two straight lines, 3 points, neither of which of those lines are horizontal.
So you're saying my straight line to the horizon is not a straight line to the horizon?
It's a straight line, but it's not horizontal.
To horizons, yeah.
It's not horizontal.
Let me guess. You also think the horizon's physical?
Well, if you claim geometry to it, so you must have it as physical.
Why does water?
It
let's
moves every hour.
Let's stick down here. Why does water find its level? I don't give a shit about the sun.
Yeah, but not the sea. That's the point. When you're on the sea doing celestial navigation,
that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. I said, why does water find its level?
He wants to go out to sea.
Yes, it certainly does. It certainly does.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
What is the cause of that? That would be tides, currents, undertows. Yeah, it's not to do with curvature at all.
Yeah, but it's not horizontal or flat either, is it? Neither of those. The sea and the oceans are not flat.
Yeah,
are
so
not
what they do
horizontal.
with celestial
At rest, they
navigation,
are.
Elder Bear, and you
But
know
they're
this.
never
They
at
get,
rest. This is
Yeah, they
another
are.
one of your fantasies. They're not at rest.
there's
Never.
You're
water
telling me,
that is
you're
at
telling
rest.
me that it never seeks rest. The ocean never,
Never.
is at rest.
It might want to
Might
get
take a
there, but it
while,
never
So
James.
you
does.
never been out. You never been out on the ocean and seen glassy water before, like a mirror.
Well, no. Have you?
Well, yeah, I have. Yeah, all large bodies of water seek level and at rest.
Unless
all large
acted
bodies.
on by another force.
There's
Yeah,
never
like
convexity
winds,
ever
water
at any
Such as
large
wind.
body of water at rest.
It doesn't curve, dude. And
Never.
actually,
You
Ever.
wouldn't know. How would you know? How would you know?
Well, you can test
Laws
this
of
out with
physics.
meniscus for one.
Yeah, well, meniscus is a curve, isn't it?
Here's a question. Here's a question.
It's convex, not curved, dude.
Why do you even care if I care if it's flat or not? Why do you guys come to all these channels and what's
Because
your big
you
worry?
are trying to give me another program, another
I ain't
conditioning,
doing
like you
anything to
claim.
you. I don't
Yes,
follow you around. I don't
you're
care
here
what
talking.
No, I
you're
don't.
here talking on a
You're on my
live
show,
public
Elder
stream.
Bear.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
I am.
Yeah, I'm here challenging you.
And
I'm
people,
challenging you.
You
okay,
ain't
you're
doing
challenging me. All right, go ahead. Challenge us. Go ahead. Give us a challenge. Any challenge.
Why do you care if I care if it's flat? That's all I asked.
I care that you putting out some story you have no proof
That's
of.
not what I asked. I said,
Which
why
is
do you
exactly
care?
what you told everybody. Not you personally, but
I
the
said,
flat
why
earthers.
do you care if I
That's
care it's flat?
projection.
Why do you
I
care
don't
if any
care.
of us think it's flat?
I don't care
Since
for you personally, but
since
you're
the
wrong.
globe got debunked, they're all pissed off about it. The globe got debunked by celestial navigation, and it does it with equal elevation angles, and they go much further at that the equal elevation angle across the plane than the circumference of the globe. It's a proven fact, dude.
If curvature existed, flat earthers wouldn't. They love to
What
project.
curvature?
They're talking
What
about
curvature?
burden of proof.
How do you measure curvature?
There is
Exactly.
no
How
curvature.
do you measure curvature or
We
not
don't.
curvature? Well, what do you mean you don't? You've never done it.
Well, we
No,
have
you
a
can't.
default. Okay,
So it's just a
it's
belief.
called your
Another
perspective.
flat Earth belief.
Belief?
That's
No,
why I
it's not
said,
a
what
belief.
do you actually know? What's your base axiom of anything? What do you know?
Do you understand how they actually determine curvature in the navies?
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you,
I know
Roger.
how to do it.
Not
I know
a
how it's
book.
done.
I can read a book. I can do all that, and you can say it's a lie.
I come
Same
from
as
a
the
long
video
line
you're
of.
looking at.
No, I come from a long line
That's
of
not
navigators.
you,
My
Roger.
no,
that's not you. That's hearsay.
No, it's
That's
not hearsay.
hearsay.
It's passed down
Yeah.
knowledge from generation to generation.
It's hearsay.
Dude.
What have you done
not
about
hearsay.
it then? What have you done? Where did you measure curve or no curve in your life?
I did that in Arizona, dude.
Where?
I got a
How did you do
72-mile observation with a.
It's just shifting the birding anyway, because all.
Go on. What's your method? I'm challenging you, Roger.
Curvature.
I'm going to tell you.
You'll
Go
never.
on, Roger. Tell me the method you use for the 72 miles.
Well, actually, I was at 7,000 feet above sea level for one.
All right. So on the not flat bit, yeah.
Yeah, sea level is an average level. It's actually horizontal.
No.
Yes, it does. You know it does.
No, we just said that the sea and the oceans are not flat, horizontal, or level because they're in constant motion. We know that.
Then they're not all in constant motion all the time. There are several large bodies of water that, if you go out far enough, they don't have.
So, did you measure water 72 miles? What did you measure?
No, I was in the desert, dude, on a flat toe.
All right, and what? Tell me the method. Go on.
At 7,000 feet.
It's 70.
Geometrically, he's on the top of a 7,000 foot stick.
You just project anyway. You want his proof. You're just shifting the burden.
You said challenge me. He said challenge me. I'm challenging him.
This is a national park, dude. It's thousands of miles across.
Doesn't matter. The method.
But the point
method,
at,
Roger.
Right. This is geometric.
Water proves it.
No, you're going to bring it back down to horizontal, right?
No,
the Roger, where you are, you.
And then you're gonna come up with the excuse that it's all plumb.
No, you, Roger. What did you do there?
I'm telling you, trying to, but you guys keep talking over me.
Go on, then.
I took a pair of binoculars and I looked at Mount Humphreys from 70 miles away. There was no obstruction, no drop, no. You should have. If you're on a sphere, a ball.
Hang on, Roger. Roger.
What?
Where you were standing and the point you could see in your binoculars, how did they relate to each other?
They're at the same elevation, dude.
How would you know that?
It's marked on the map. Yeah. You gonna laugh
You've
at me?
got binoculars.
Parabolic levels.
How did you measure the curve or the lack of curvature?
Well, if there were curvature, there would be drop over distance.
Well, how did you
right?
measure it, though, Roger? How did you verify that?
Because I would have not have been able to see it.
So this is just a belief you have. You don't
No, it's
know
not.
this.
There's actual measurements of curvature on a spheroid.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Your measurement, Roger.
That's not my
What
measurements.
did you
Your
measure?
measurements
What
got
have you?
debunked. That's
what
what
have
happened.
you? I haven't got measurements.
Real
It's not
quick,
my
Roger.
measurements that got debunked. I'm asking you about
So
your method.
you're here
that
with
you
the burden of
know.
proof that you say you're on a
No,
globe, right,
you.
Elder Bear? Are you on a globe?
I never said.
Are you on a?
I never
Are
said
you on a
that.
globe?
I never said I'm on a
You
globe.
never say anything, do you? You never say anything or make any claims. You're
Well,
a
what happened,
jellyfish,
Roger?
dude.
Roger, what happened was that you lot said that the globe should be investigated and tested
we are.
for reality.
And you hate this,
And I
don't you?
found that didn't make much sense. But there were these other guys offering this other thing called flat Earth. So I went to give that
Offering
due
it?
diligence and asked them, yes, like you are, Roger,
Offering
and
it?
all the people
I'm
here.
offering. Who am I offering it to?
Hey, Roger, real
Well,
quick.
this is your belief system.
It's not
That
a
you
belief.
claim the
It's
Earth
what
is flat.
It's what I
Hey,
observe.
Elder
So
Bear,
I
shut the fuck
I
up
just
for a
came
second.
to
Hey,
ask the
Roger,
question
I'm
about
gonna
it,
mute him if
about the flat
Roger,
Earth.
Roger, I want to thank
I
you
just
for
told
having
you.
me up. These
Oh.
guys are energy vampires, and I've stayed up
Yeah,
way too late.
I'm gonna ask you guys to
JJ,
leave.
it was good hanging out with you.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
And
JJ's still here.
hopefully
Go on,
I can
JJ,
come up under better circumstances.
No, don't worry
and
about
the
it.
rest of
They're
you
gone
people
now.
in chat.
Cubby,
Thanks.
I'd rather talk to you, dude.
All right. Well, I gotta go anyway, man. I stayed up way too late. So.
I'm not gonna do any more of this dance, dude. I'm not.
No, I know. I just gotta go though. It's just I've gotta I gotta work tomorrow, and it's way too late. And
Yeah, me too. I actually got to work it at 11 o'clock in the morning. And it's 2 a.m. now, so I'm gonna go for another half hour.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I got to work in 5 hours.
But no, thanks for having me, man. I'll come up again.
Those other two people who just left don't work.
No, I know. That's the
Imagine
problem.
that. It's all projection anyway. You know, cognitive dissonance is thick with those guys.
No, I had to stop that. I'm just inscribing what I actually saw with my eyes and what I should see on a globe. And Bev used to do that his own self, and he found that he got a lot of flack for it. He didn't like it, so he decided to turn on everybody else. So
yeah, and if it goes against our senses, then they have the burden of proof, not us. You know, all observation shows that it's level. It's called sea level. Yeah, I mean, do they think that it's parabolic level?
Thanks, Cubby. Let me just say, night, man. Appreciate you coming on and dealing with that shit. Anyway, sorry, JJ.
Oh, you're good, but yeah. Like I said, you know, they have the burden because all of our defaults are going to rely on our senses. You'll never see curvature. So if you're going to make a positive claim that there is, then they have the burden to prove it, not us. And like I said, it's sea level. It's in the damn name. You know, whether they claim what level is a parabolic act or what. Levels just curve, huh?
Yeah, levels curve, dude. That's the next axiom they're going to try to get rid of. They've been trying to do that for 200 years, literally. Since they started geodetic surveying, I think what they've done is they added spherical excess. What they do, they take topographical measurements and they create this spherical excess out of it. They put a larger triangle on a sphere across a sphere, and they draw a chord through it to get a measurement. Then they add that curve into it from the topographical stuff. And voila, ball.
Yeah. And then every time they have this almighty proof, like boats going over the curve, or it's like this is their evidence to support their, you know, claims, and they're obviously debunked. They think, most of them think that the horizon's physical when it literally moves every hour due to atmospheric condition. It rises with you, but yet they act like it's physical, you know, geometry, which, you know, like I like how Saab says it. You know, you can have 2 + 2 unicorns. You know, there's math, so that makes unicorns real. Like, math isn't the almighty answer to our reality.
Well, they add the spherical excess into it, and then they subtract it out when they actually do the actual physical measurement. In other words, to the distance to where you're going.
Yeah.
It's really a strange brew that they make to keep the geodetic surveying alive. And it's a good old boys club, dude. If you talk to any geodetic surveyors that work for the counties and stuff, they do this stuff all the time.
Exactly.
It's kind of shiesty, to be honest.
Yeah,
Anyways,
no, Bev, she sure wants to appeal to that trip when they had the burden of proof in the first place, and that's why they went there to go prove it, and they got caught lying, and yet she's gonna ascertain like the shit we can count on. Like she's gonna ask you where your proof is. Where's this? Where's that? How do you know west this, west that? When she's gonna sit here and ascertain like this shit's real in the first
yeah.
place.
Well, what west is a direction, east is a direction, and the sun travels in those directions. Man, that's just all there is.
Clockwise is going west. If as long as you don't go closer to the north or farther from the north, and you head clockwise, you're heading west. You have to continuously turn in order to go west.
Yeah, and you dead reckon to the north because it's a magnetic. It's magnetic declination. That's how they did circumnavigation to begin with, and celestial navigation is based on it.
Yeah, they just like muddying the waters. Poison that well, baby.
Yeah, they hate 10th Man too. You ever heard of 10th Man?
No.
He was on Nathan Oakley's for a couple of years, and he took nautical almanacs. He went and spent $10,000 on them. He started studying how they do their conversions, like Habersign, all the rest of it. And he found out that they always bring it back to triangulation. Basically, they get an equal elevation angle above their target on the ball, supposedly, because it's not always going to be level. So that's why they do it. That's how they map across the Earth. It's pretty. If you're at sea and you're on a rocky sea, if you have an equal elevation angle that's not moving, you can actually pinpoint a location on the Earth. That's what they do. That's celestial navigation in a nutshell.
Yeah, our ancestors have been doing it. It's not nothing
Forever.
new.
Yeah.
Apparently, our ancestors knew best. They documented all the celestials and had it all figured out. But they're just a bunch of dumb flat earthers as well, apparently.
It's annoying. It's all right, but there's a Catholic Church behind the rest of that, and I think it's politically based. They created a sphere for political purposes.
Yeah, they're hiding a lot. I think a lot of it has to do with the energy. They're hiding the ether and the fact that these ancient architectural mega structures were actually resonators, generators, and batteries. And they're just repurposed. They've hidden the contrast between 1800, 1700 predating power tools, and they're building mega structures that we can't even touch with a 10-foot pole with the symmetry and architectural. It's amazing work they did, and it's supposed to be with hand tools, with a horse and buggy.
Yeah, have you ever seen some of the marble sculptures they have, and some of those that actually have like netting around faces that look
it's insane, man. And you're going to contrast that with the people and the primitive tools. It's nonsense.
Yeah, it is. Well, that was a fun little conversation we had there with Bev. I don't know. I think he's making his rounds again. He's been trolling me for a while. He's been trying to get me.
That's the first time I've seen him.
You never met Bev before? Huh.
No, thank God. It reminds me of Brenda, though.
He's a he. He doesn't claim
That's
to
why.
be.
Yeah, it reminds me of Brenda.
He's definitely a guy. So
yeah,
Bev just likes to argue with flat earthers.
Yeah, they don't even know what the difference between a woman or a man is, but they're going to come knock you for your intelligence.
No, Bev's got a big following. He has a big channel. It's called On the Level. And he was going around testing curvature around the Earth best he could in London and England. And he got involved with a lot of the people over there on Nathan Oakley's channel. You've heard of him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's where Bev comes from. And Bev kind of got shunned, and he came up with his own idea. He's come up with an idea of a true globe. It's not. Story. I know it is, but I asked him about it, and he never tells me anything about his true globe. He just says it's a true globe. You look outside, you see the true globe.
Unbelievable.
I know. It is. It sounds almost like a grift to me. I don't preach anything else. I just preach the observations I make, and we know they're lying to us. So why would I believe anything in their so-called model to begin with?
Yeah, apparently credibility is a dying, it's lost. There's no such thing as credibility anymore because we just keep complying to compulsive liars.
Yeah, when I saw Mount Humphreys the first time, this is back around, I don't know, 2009, 2010. When I looked at it myself, like, I shouldn't see that. That's the first thing that came into my mind without even like making measurements or anything. Then I looked it up on a map. and saw where Upries was and where I was in Walnut Canyon and how far it was. Like, wow, I shouldn't be able to see that at all. Like, that should be somewhere way beyond a curve, somewheres, but you can see it. Line of sight, dude. And then I got into the topic. Yeah.
Right, and it's always parallel to it. You'll never see them tilted or anything. You know, if you did see something that was that far, wouldn't it be somewhat tilted, even if it was refracted or something? I don't know how refraction is so magical that it always puts it right back to the level where if it was flat, that's where refraction puts it, and then it always keeps it at the same angle as if it was flat. Everything always just lines up perfect as if it was topographic.
That's because everything is not always refracted.
Yeah. That's just their go-to scapegoat, you know, refraction and gravity.
Yeah. Nathan came to the same conclusion after they were at Blackpool Tower. They were looking at it, I think, and he says, "Well, I can see the clock across the bay there. That's not a clock I'm looking at. That's a refracted hologram I'm looking at. That's what you guys are saying." And from that point on, he just gave up on the whole topic with that particular thing with refraction. He knows that they use that whenever they can't explain why you're seeing shit.
Oh yeah.
And it's just too big to measure the curve is the next one.
Yeah.
I can't measure it. It's too big. It's just locally flat, dude. That's all it is. Just locally.
Yeah. Home Depot, baby.
Mm-hmm. That didn't work. So I'm going to play a Jim Anus video, and I'm going to get the hell off of here. I'm tired.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I'm going to go ahead and hop off as well. I appreciate you.
Well, thanks for answering the question.
And watch the rest of this. You betcha, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. That's how you have a conversation, right, JJ?
Yes, sir.
Don't have to holler at you.
Yeah. Have a good one, bud.
No, you too.
See if I can't figure out how to leave this bitch.
Well, there's a leave button, I think, at the bottom of your screen. I don't have a leave button. I end the stream. That's how I leave.
Gotcha. I'll figure it out sooner or later.
It's in there. If not, you can just exit out of the screen and go back to YouTube.
Just close the whole thing off.
Yeah.
That'll do. Oh, there's a leave. I see leave. All right. Thanks, man.
You're welcome. And Bev came to Jaren's rescue. That makes me think that Bev's got something to gain out of this final excrement too, doesn't it? Why is he in here fighting for it, dude? I don't get it. If I'm looking at somebody making a claim themselves that says something different than what I know, I'm going to look into it. That's plain and simple. But I'm not falling into some kind of trap neither. I think Jaren would already struck me. I've played plenty of his videos before. I think Jaren wants exposure, from what I can tell. I want to play the Isobel. Isobel star. What is an Isobel star, Jim? Tell me. I have no idea. There's something wrong with going out and making observations of your own and coming to your own conclusions? I don't think so. I recommend everybody do it for themselves. And ask questions when you're presented with observations by other people. It makes sense to me. Pretty cool looking, huh? Oh, okay. Thanks. That explains it. Isabel. Good night, everybody. Sorry, I was on mute there for a second. Yeah, that was quite taxing with Bev. Yeah, he's sucking the life out of you as you go. He has the same talking points every time he comes in. Come up with something new. You can find a good discovery of your own. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just going to go down and film a solstice, supposedly. I want to play it with Chris Berry. Good night, guys. Thanks, Real. Appreciate it, man. All right. Rethink. Night, man. And Big Pine, Mr. Banner, Wolfchild. And who else we got in here? Scott, you're still here? And, of course, the Anus, the Jim. And Sea Lightning was here. I see you. $200 binoculars and a cell phone. You can see far. Yep. Farther than you should see, isn't it? That's what I think. Let's say goodnight to you guys. Super, Tina, Valley, keeping warm in Arizona still, I see. And let's see. I'll see. Oh, Jono. Night, guys. Peace.
Must we be the masters, the masters, the masters? Must we be the masters of limitation? All our rules and regulations, walls and border segregation, the caging of infinity, scientific mutiny, calling ourselves ordinary, yeah. Pretend to know what we don't know, call it belief, and then we don't let it go. No more belief, I choose wonder, like a child whose mind is so tender.